Hello.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All right, I managed to start the stream with my headphones on this time, and that is always a good sign that this is going to be a good stream. So,
Oh yeah.
without further ado, let's get kicked off. Hey everyone, thanks for joining. This is Makko Live, where you can show up every week and watch us build Makko Live. Sometimes we'll talk about the product and the platform and the feature changes that we're making to that. Jeremy usually will cover that. He's not here right now. Then we will cover some of the updates that making to the little uh, games, little indie games that I'm working on for a number of purposes. I've got one that has a Steam page, and we're going to release on Steam at one point, Sector Scavengers. And then I'm making every week I'm making like little prototype games that I can use in YouTube videos that we put out for educational content. So that's part of the segment every week. And then Brandon will be talking about a little first party game that we're making called Rift Runners. It's a platformer that focuses on controlling time to solve puzzles and allow the user to explore the environment without fighting enemies. So we're excited to cover that. You might see my cat's head like right here from time to time. She's pretty excited about being on the show. Um, oh, whoops. And for those of you that aren't in the Discord, go ahead and feel free to join the Discord at discord.gg/Makko, Makko. Every week we host contests and giveaways where you can enter with art that you make on Makko or little prototypes that you make on Makko for a chance to win a $50 Steam gift card. We also host office hours at noon Pacific time on Fridays. So if you want to drop by and hang out and talk to the team about what we're building or what you're building, you're welcome to. And you can also just drop in the chat and say hey, and we'll answer any questions that you have. So again, it's discord.gg/Makko, Makko. Love to see you. Drop on by. All right. So with that, we will jump into the show. I have been, I'll share my screen here. I've been working on a game called Sector Scavengers for the last little bit, which is a fun little romp through space where you play a space scavenger who is who has woken up from cryo sleep and has been told that they are now responsible for paying back the million credit debt that they owe the company for keeping them alive throughout the centuries in cryo sleep. They thought that they were going to be waking up in a post scarcity society where they'd be living in a utopia, and instead they have found themselves indentured servants to crazy robot overlords.
After they fired him too, right? So it's kind
After
of
they fired him, yeah,
yeah.
they fired him because the AI took their jobs, which we all know is going to happen,
Yep.
and then the companies offered them cryo sleep as a severance package, and many people took it, expecting to wake up in a post scarcity society, and instead they woke up to a robotic hell. So what you can see here is me in the art studio. I hate to use the stream to have you guys watch art generate, but I
Then
got super
you got
busy
to share
this
your
week.
screen first.
Oh man, I'm terrible at that. Let me share my screen.
What's up, Igor? What's up, Vin?
Hey, Vin and Igor, what's up, guys? We're just going through a little Sector Scavengers updates. So last week, we were just explaining what Sector Scavengers is. Last week, Jeremy recommended that I tone down the animations that I'm using on the screen, meaning use fewer of them at one time. Specifically, he suggested that I get rid of the little uh,
Like the little
spark,
yeah.
yes, spark animations that indicate that there's damage that you can repair,
Yep.
and replace them with whoops. I was like, what is this?
I think
Uh,
we had a really good conversation about like level flow expectations for like that level, what the player does, what their main goal is, and like
and
how your little character can move around the frame too.
and how how every action should feel like a combat action feels in Slay the Spire. So like right now, there's no variety to what happens when you play a card, right? Like you play the card and you take some amount of variable damage, but it's not super clear, and you don't. It doesn't really feel like the environment's fighting back, if you will.
Yeah, that was a
So
big thing, is that you got damaged on your turn when you played the card instead
yes,
of the environment really damaging you.
yes, and so working on that. So like, for example, one of the things that we'll do here is we'll say remove the, I think I call them repair panels, repair panel animations from the game. We don't like them. Remove the I wonder what like the bubbles. Is that what you would call those? The
Sparks.
no, the like the little blue bubbles that are falling. Jeremy hated those too.
Oh, the particle effects or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah. Do you want to share that screen?
Oh, I thought I was. Am I not?
No, we're on Art Studio right now.
Interesting. How do I? Oh, because I'm an idiot and I opened up a new tab. Here we go. Do you see it now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So remove the panel animations from the game. Remove the particle effects that look like bubbles falling from the top of the screen. This should happen on all screens
Like, I
with
think particle
a
effects
set of
or
limits.
dust falling would be really cool, but I think that's something that we can put in afterwards when we're trying to like pretty everything up.
Yeah. And right now, these just don't look like that. So we're going to tell Mako to remove those things. It's going to do that. And then we'll go back over here. And here we go. This is Jeremy's suggestion was um, make the scene look a little more beat up as you take damage instead of
Yeah.
um, the little panels. And so that's what I'm trying to do here. It looks like I'm trying to see. It looks like it didn't quite get the door right, maybe.
Are we in Art Studio again?
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Nice.
So, right, like it looks like it didn't quite get the door the same. So,
Yeah, you'd have to get it exactly right. Do you have your background as the reference right now?
yeah,
Okay.
right here.
Nice.
So I'm giving it the context that I need it to uh, be exactly like the reference image. So because it's going to be a replacement when the ship takes damage, and I'm making it high
Do
so
you
that
still yeah, go. I'm curious to see what it generates here, but also, do you still have this in your generated images? Like this the original image that you can iterate on?
ooh, no. I mean, I'll scroll down, but I don't think so because I've done a lot since then.
Yeah, I think that's okay. But if you like, if it does come up with something that you like, maybe we can just swap out the asset and then iterate on that.
I guess I could also just create a new one and then do that as well, right?
Yep,
So
exactly.
that's what I'll probably do if this doesn't work. This one. Let me see, actually, while it's doing that, let's do.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, make it pristine.
Yeah.
Nice and
So let's
perfect.
see. Let's see what works better: the regeneration or the iteration. I feel like the regeneration or the iteration is something that Crab from Moana would sing. Let's see what's better: the
That's amazing.
iteration or the a regeneration.
Did you see the live action Moana?
Is it no? Is it out yet?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta see it. I heard like that people were real bumming out on it, but I'm in the middle of rewatching The Expanse right now, and Frankie Adams, the woman who plays Moana's mom, might be like my new favorite actress. She hasn't been in anything since The Expanse, and Moana is like the biggest thing, sounds like. And I hope it does well and that she gets more roles because she's a really good actress.
Nice. I read one article opening weekend saying that it kind of missed its target,
Yeah.
but I mean, that doesn't mean that it's over for him.
I mean, they messed up Lilo and Stitch real bad.
I forgot that they had a live action one.
Yeah, I mean, like the whole point of Lilo and Stitch was like, family, Ohana, be together, we love you. And then like in the live action movie, at the end, the sister just like goes to college and leaves. And that's not the point of Moana.
That's insane.
So this definitely worked. I've got at least 2 here that I can. Okay, but did this work too? Did it do it? No.
Maybe it looks a little squished. There's the right one looks. What's the far right one?
Oh, that looks good.
Is there a way to like just line it up? I don't. We don't actually have a way to compare two
I
different assets together.
I don't know, Brandon. You're the dev.
Yeah, it doesn't look exactly the same though. So I would go with your strategy that you're doing right now.
It looks like iteration is superior to regeneration.
Yeah, for this particular case, absolutely. We just want to dirty it up or clean it up. This one's interesting. This one like added like some pots.
Yeah, it's weird.
But it'd be really cool. I don't know what your thoughts are, but if you had like a clean, a medium dirty, and a really dirty.
That's what I'm doing. I said
Yeah.
I'm taking this one that's beat up and said make it even more beat up.
Yep. Throw some more pots around of the clay variety.
Of the clay. I like that there's clay pots and duct tape.
Oh yeah. I mean, how are you gonna fix the pots? Yeah, that's nice. So the other thing about live action movies that I think is pretty funny is that when they do a live action and the main character is CG anyways.
Yes.
I'm like, oh.
Why did you do that? That's a weird uncanny valley.
Like How to Train Your Dragon was, the humans are actually humans, but half the movie is about dragons.
I hadn't even thought about that. Letta's video is just crushing right now. It's already got 3,000 views. And
the one that he did with ChatGPT, what the new one, the new latest model on there was a 5 point.
Yeah. And I think we've taken like we've already taken 100 signups in the last 24 hours.
Ooh.
Which is, almost double our normal. All right, yeah. Geese, do you see the screen? Oh wait, nope. Do you see the screen?
Yeah.
It looks like it looks like the bubbles are still there, or maybe there's some bubbles that aren't falling; they're just moving left and right. So let's.
Oh, you're right.
Are there bubbles that move left and right and don't fall? If so, get rid of those too.
What model are you using? You're using the new Gemini?
This is Gemini because it's super fast.
Oh yeah.
Oh, look at this, dude. Okay. So we've got beautiful, beat kind of damaged, beat to shit.
Switch us over there.
What do you mean?
Get us into Art Studio.
God dang it. So we've got pristine.
Oh yeah.
And then we've got a little bit damaged. And then we've got beat to shit.
Nice. It looks dirty.
Yeah, super dirty. All right, we're doing it. We're going to save these. So this is background, hallway, worst. Oh, don't want to iterate a line. I want to save. Background best. And background mid. And now we're going to go back to Code Studio, which I will share.
Yes.
And let's see if it took out the particle effects. It did take out the things to repair. I saw that. All
Looks
right.
good. Looks clean.
Yeah, looks a lot cleaner. And now let's add our new backgrounds, best, mid, worst. Okay, and now let's tell Makko what we want. We want to replace the middle section of the hallway, which is using okay, where is
This selector's new to the stream, right?
yeah, this selector is great. Here we go. All right.
So you just type in at, or you click the at symbol, and you can choose from any of your added assets.
Replace it with, and then you only need to know one of the words in your asset library. So like I know best, mid, and worst.
Looks like we need to expand the menu there that has the names on it in case we have long names, right?
Like mine, yeah. When the player is in the hallway and has between 75, actually we'll just do, what is a third again? It'd be like
0.333.
67. Would it be 67%? 67, right? 67
Yep.
or more health. Mid, when the player when the hallway has, or the player in the hall is in the hallway and has and then it'd be 34
Yep.
to 66 health, and use worst when the player is in the hallway and has less than 34 health. All right, let's see if it does it, boys.
Nice. You could have instead of like, I know it's easier to type worst, but you could have also done the at in there.
Oh, you're right. I could have.
Yeah, and that way the AI would have used less tokens to go
Doesn't have to
figure out
go.
what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to go search. While it's doing this, I will also chat through some of the some more context around what it is we're trying to do with Sector Scavengers. Sector Scavengers is a roguelike deck builder set in space. And so you are navigating through these ships, trying to pick up salvage, which you will then sell back to your robot overlords, who you owe money to because you're in debt for them keeping you alive. And then one of the other things Jeremy talked about was this UI layout in general here. The encounters and the hardware and salvage menus being hard to understand which one is the most important. So I'm going to move this over here And
Yeah, I think that's a typical left to right pattern where everything important is left, because at least most people read from left to right.
yeah, I agree. So we want to swap the hardware and encounter panels. So hardware is on the right and encounter is on the left. And make the encounter panel taller and put the salvage information in it. So it is one panel on the left. All right, let's see what happens here. And then while it's doing that, we will refresh and we'll see if the best, mid, and worst treatment are working correctly.
Yeah, I'm wondering what your current chat will do, if it'll actually kind of expand that area and like get rid of those two dots on top, or if you need to provide it with like a new art asset for that. Like it looks like we do want to make some panels bigger and more prominent, and I think there is a little bit of space that we can utilize with like those two circles in the upper left area. Yeah.
These?
Below, yeah, below the health and
Oh,
below, yeah,
these?
those, yeah,
Yeah. I think what I just told it was to make this one panel.
yeah. I think that'd be nice.
All right, let's see. Let's see if it.
Oh, look at that! You got mid right now since
Yep.
you're at 62 health.
Yep, that is great. And let's see if it goes back when I repair.
Oh no, you need two more.
Look at that.
Wow.
And
Be
that does
cool
look a lot
to
better.
like, yeah, later in polish, it'd be cool to get a nice looking transition.
Yeah. Like a shake or something.
Yeah, but it looks good for now.
Yeah. I gotta bug out because I ran out of energy. I wanna see it go to the dirty one though. All right. Here we go. Almost there. Need one more. Haha, look at that.
Nice.
And let's see what happens if I stay in the hallways. It stays dirty. How sweet is that? It kept some of
Nice.
these bubbles though.
I can't even tell.
Yeah, it's okay.
I think this is the appropriate amount of bubbles if you want to keep some.
Yeah. And look at that, back to mid. Oh, that's awesome. Cool.
Nice.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful when it works. And so, for anyone watching, the process that we just went through, creating 3 new backgrounds and integrating them into the game with logic to determine what changes them. I'm not a developer and I'm not an artist, which is part of the beauty of this platform, but that certainly would have taken longer than the 24 minutes that we've been on this call talking to you guys to redraw or to draw 3 images and then build them into a game with logic. Building them into the game with logic is probably more like a couple hour task, but drawing the images themselves is probably like hours or days. And so
I'd say if you already had all the scaffolding in place for an image swap, plus adding 2 more images based off of like health percentages, that may be a 30-minute like technical task.
But we didn't have it, right? We didn't
Yeah,
have
exactly. That. Yeah, and so what did it take you, like 3 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Oh, look. So yeah, I moved it around, and I need to get it fitting in there better, but that's fine. And I'll stretch this out so it's taller.
Look at that. Yeah.
Make the right panel taller and left panel with encounter and salvage info in it taller and wider, only 5 pixel wider and on the right side, and move the encounter information down by 15 pixels, and all information to the right by 15 pixels, and move the amount of salvage to the left by 10 pixels so it's closer to the word salvage. I really like Gemini.
Do you want to tell? Oh, also, like if your pixel count estimation is off, maybe you could tell it to like use your best judgment to make it fit within.
I've done that before, and it just doesn't do a great job when I tell it
Okay.
that. Yeah. I mean, it does something different, but it's not usually the thing I want.
Gotcha.
Dude, I just checked the dashboard again, and we are at 99 signups for the trailing 24 hours, and we have 47 signups as we sit here at 9 o'clock in the morning.
That's amazing. What's our record for a day?
108, I think.
Look at that. We're almost there. It's the beginning of the day.
Yeah, I think this will be our best day for signups ever.
That's really cool. I'm actually going to check the like attribution to see if it's like if it is from the YouTube video. That
It's got to be. Dude, we had 100 returning users yesterday. That's so awesome. I wonder what did you sent the email yesterday, right?
Yeah, I did.
Did anyone open it?
Yeah, people opened it.
Because we got a big returning user spike yesterday. Got about 30% lift in returning users yesterday.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
I don't have too much attribution for the newsletter. Looks like we have a few, like 25 clicks or so.
I mean, it's about 30 returning users more than we see every day. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what it did here. Look at that, a lot closer. Move, make the panel 10 pixels wider on the right, and move all the information over another 10 pixels to the right. And this should do it. Oh, I didn't move encounter down because I'm stupid.
You're good.
You weren't kidding. Jeremy was like, guys, not going to do it today. Can't do it today.
No, he said he's coming. But oh yeah, going back to the art conversation that we were having, you just created like 3 new iterations of art. And I don't want to take anything away from like artists. I think there's a real place for like hand-drawn art or digitally like drawn art. But for somebody who is not an artist, this is an accessibility thing, right? And so you're able to go in and create your own background for your level, dirty it up, doctor it up, however you wanted, and put in your game pretty quickly too. And so I think that's the biggest thing that we're trying to push is that accessibility to everyone, like hobbyists, professionals, indies.
And so now I just told it to move the encounter information down and put the word encounter back on top of it, so it's clear that that's the encounter information. And then I think that'll be the right level of layout for this. And I think then we'll pass it over. We'll show off some of the stuff Leta's doing, and then we'll start jumping into Rift Runners.
Do you want to go over your Vampire Survivor at all? I think you made a couple changes too, right?
I can, yeah. I didn't make a ton of changes there, but actually, I can show off the. Yes, I can totally do that. Let's see if it fixed this real quick. Look at that. Oh no, it didn't. It changed the encounter to encounter.
Yeah.
Jerk.
I think right now UI manipulation is probably the hardest thing to do, with how the game is set up right now too. I mean, like, it's great to like drag and drop stuff where you want it instead of typing into the LLM.
Or like if it's a text string, just like be able to click on the text string and change the words.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that's some of the stuff Jeremy's working on with the engine that he's been talking about is like all the visual manipulation stuff.
Yeah, New Game Plus. Yep.
Yep. NGP. Jeremy decided he hates playing League of Legends with me last night.
How late were you playing League of Legends last night?
Not super late. I think we stopped at like 9 or 10 o'clock. Or I stopped at like 9 or 10 o'clock. But we lost like every game in a row.
Oh my gosh.
And largely because of me.
Oh my god, what were you doing? Aren't you the tank?
No, I'm the jungler and I'm like real bad. But that's that's one of the things I love about League and I think is so impressive about the design. Like I am objectively terrible at the game and I have so much fun playing. It's like it's one of the only games I've ever played that it's like actively fun to suck at.
That's awesome.
Hey,
what's up?
What'd I miss?
Oh, we were just going through some of the changes we talked about last week for sector scavengers, moving the information around a little bit, consolidating one of the menus, and then we removed the Sparky damage indicators, and we replaced them with a room change. So now, when you get to a certain health, you can see we just went from nice room to mid room, and then when you get down below 30 health, it goes to this super beat up version of the room. And so that's what we did. And then you can see over here we've got the encounter information that is now consolidated to one spot with the salvage, so it's a lot easier to understand what's going on. And we're going to add it. We're going to make it so when you play a card, when you play a card, the you're not just like taking damage when you play the card, like the environment, like you're going to play the card, you're going to do your thing, and instead of the damage happening at the same time, you'll lose your energy, and then the player will stop moving, and then something will happen on the ship that will indicate damage is being taken. Not 100% sure what that's going to be yet. Probably like a shake of some sort that lasts a little bit longer than the current shake, and I might do some like electricity arcing across the screen or something. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But yeah, just trying to make it cleaner. We took the falling bubbles out of the scene as well, and then we were about to move over and look at the Vampire Survivors game a little bit and some of the updates I made there.
Nice.
Encounter information down another 10 pixels. Then we're good. And then we were just talking about how it'll be nice when we've got New Game Plus and I can just like drag these text blocks around or double click on them and change the word that's in them instead of telling the AI to go move it by 10 pixels or change the word by a letter because I misspelled something. So that's good. That's going there. We'll let it finish. I love Gemini Flash. It's so fast. It's
Yeah,
like it is like
it is fast.
multiple times the speed of GLM.
Yeah, GLM is like pretty slow too, and this is where like depending on what you're doing, you might as well use Flash over it. It also we were talking about. I was telling you guys yesterday. It finishes things in less turns than Kimi K27 or Minimax. GLM doesn't suffer from this problem as much, but like Kimi K27 would take like a Minimax take like 2 to 3 times as many turns to complete something, so your context fills up, all of those things. Whereas like Flash, just the new Flash, just it's cheap. We didn't have the old Flash because the old Flash was twice as expensive, so it wasn't as fast either. So for the price, for the performance was not great because it was more expensive than GLM, but and at the time it was quite a bit worse. But yeah, no, I mean it being fast is definitely helpful.
I mean, I just made all these changes in the first 30 minutes, and usually it takes. I mean, this would have taken, an hour, which is still crazy to say. We talk about it all the time. It's taking an hour to change the scene and add logic, but as someone who can't code, that's crazy. But now it's like 5-10 minutes. Let's go.
I mean, I don't know what people's impression of coders are, but they're not doing a lot of things super fast by hand either. So
that's I asked Brandon that. I was like, how long would this take if you were like writing the code? It was a lot longer than the 5 minutes that it took.
Yeah, if you're intimately familiar with everything and you're intimately familiar with the framework and you're intimately familiar with what you need to do and you've done it before, you can probably do it pretty quick. But when it's just when it's like you're not really familiar, you don't do it. I mean, just watch Brandon use Godot, right? Like Godot's or Brandon's program for like 15, 20 years now, and he still is like, because Godot's new. It's bumbling around, which is like completely normal. Everybody's used new stuff, but it's that's why AI is so good.
Yeah, it's building up the context of the new thing, going through and doing a Godot specific scripting language, and then just learning how they make different scenes. Same thing with your code, Tony, too, is like just going in, looking to see what logic exists, reading through hopefully hilarious comments that other engineers have left, and trying to interpret everything.
Yeah, that's the one thing I miss with AI is the comments are very bland and factual. They're not
funny.
Yeah, there are some good comments you'd read at 3 a.m. on call when you'd come in and you'd be like, what the fuck is going on? Then you finally find the code and you're like, oh, you just laugh because like it's been a problem for 10 years and everybody knows it's a problem. And the last 3 people left a comment in there.
Yeah, the comments are like dragons be here.
Yeah. Since we're talking about models, so we did launch Opus 5 this week, Sonnet 5, and we upgraded to Kimi K3, which just hit the US vendors yesterday. We don't only use that's worth a call out too. We don't only use US vendors, but I usually wait to roll out models until we can use some combination of US vendors, mainly because it's actually there's privacy issues, but the bigger issue is the Chinese companies don't actually have a lot of access to good GPUs, so their hosting is usually very unstable. Not always true, but a lot of the time. So Kimi K3 hit open weight yesterday, or 2 days ago. We added it yesterday. Kimi K3 is actually exceptionally good. It is actually kind of funny. Opus 5 is by far the best, but like quite frankly, just for the power users, I would never, ever, ever use Sonnet 5 over Kimi K3. There's literally no reason with how cheap Kimi K3 is that you should ever use Sonnet 5.
That's wild.
Yeah, Sonnet 5 is like a piece of trash compared to Kimi K3. Kimi K3 is triggering all these like, oh my God, we need to ban open weight models. We need to do this. And I don't know what would happen to our business if they did that. We'd be like, Google, OpenAI, please give us
more
lots
credits.
of credits, and our shit would have to get more expensive, right? Like that's when I hear the government talking about that stuff, and that's been the conversation this last week, it actually, I think it's so bad for anybody except really big corporations. And you've heard me talk on this stream about how AI can democratize things, but that is the one way the US government can fuck up democratizing everything, is if they start banning Chinese open weight models and European open weight models. It's like literally the worst possible thing they can do for small business. And just for context on that, like I ran a test with Opus 5, which is very, very good. And it's like for what most people are doing, I like, unless you're like debugging something and there's some like major issue, it's just not worth doing. Even if it can one shot things others can't. Like just for like one little, like one of my test games that usually takes like 50 cents on the back end took like $3, right? So it's
$3.70, right?
or $3. Yeah, it's just very expensive. It's like I mean, you're not talking like 2x, right? That's what, like almost 10x, right? So it's which is why it's 20x in the UI. And that's a small game test too, right? That's not a
you made like a little RPG battler, right?
Yeah, it's just an RPG scene, like is all it is like that was the one class one. And then I went and did one in Kimi K3. It took a little bit longer because they're still scaling up their hosts and everything. But it did like 3 classes, a bunch of different monsters, a leveling system, everything for like 60 cents. So it was like, it's just a lot cheaper. But Kimi K3 is the first open weight model that straight up performs. I would put it on the same level as Opus 5 and GPT 5.6 Sol, which someone at OpenAI, someone at Microsoft, Flash has made its way to our default model because Gemini gave us credits. If you want GPT Luna to be the default model, please send us credits.
I told the guy from the Microsoft group yesterday. He was like, "Oh, are you guys using Azure for anything?" And I was like, "Not yet, but we'd love to."
Yeah, like
need some credits.
well, I mean, honestly, if you have his email, be like, "Hey, we can probably send over an email and be like, hey, we got these credits from the other 2 vendors." Like,
oh, that's exactly what we're gonna do. And he was like, excited. He's like, "Please follow up with me. This looks great." So
yeah, because it's because our biggest expense. And so for anybody that hasn't done a small company, until you hit critical mass, like everything is a calculation of current expense. We're technically in the negative without paying ourselves, just because things like Google Workspace and sending emails out and all of that costs some amount of money. And then of course AI is really expensive. So especially when you're a tech startup, any Google credits help the cash flow, or not Google credits, any cloud credits help the cash flow dramatically. So for us, our biggest expense is obviously LLM and art. And so GPT-2, we would actually move GPT-2 to be the default in some of our art workflows. And the main reason we don't is we don't have any OpenAI credits, right? And it's the one vendor we have 0 credits from. Which is really interesting. And actually, maybe we should just launch an email to OpenAI and be like, dude, we want to lean into GPT and put the name GPT in front of everybody. We want to replace Sonnet 5 on our website with GPT. Like maybe we just write them an email and be like, the only reason we can't is because you're the only vendor that has not given us credits. Because like, honestly, like GPT Image 2 is great. It's actually a lot cheaper than Nano Banana 2. Yeah, well, it has the low mode, which makes it cheaper. I mean, honestly, Nano Banana 2 is getting worse every month. You can follow the trends on the internet. And I know it's kind of a meme for models to quote unquote be dumb after a month of being released. But Brandon's been debugging this issue all week where there's like this consistency issue. And I'm pretty sure we didn't change much in there because it's the legacy path. And I'm pretty sure it's just Nano Banana released a update. So now we got to go.
Is.
Yeah.
And so like what I've been seeing is that with the legacy, you have your reference sheet, you have your front, side, and back images. And when I just I have a specific prompt for that raccoon, and the raccoon is facing front, idle, cheerfully. And if I remove side and back images and just feed it in the front image, it generates it perfectly 100% of the time. Well, with a couple variances through AI hallucinations, but that like it was doing fine before then. So I believe that there is a degradation of quality in Nano Banana for interpreting those reference images, and so it's confusing itself.
Yeah, and what we do in the modern pipeline is we select only the references we expect you need to generate the first frame or so anyways, it's a little bit different. And then this is also evidenced. Google's got a really weird strategy. Like a lot of people shit on Gemini 3.6 Flash, but for the price, the performance, the speed, I actually think it's a market leader when you consider all three. But when it comes to the best on the market, it's like Google just gave up entirely, right? Like they don't. Nana Banana had such a massive lead. VO had such a massive lead. All these services had such a massive lead, and they just disappeared. Like Omni is very good at fluid motion. It's horrible at consistency. And the main reason I keep putting off C Dance 2, and I should just add it, is just it's just really expensive. And our users right now aren't like spending a ton of money, and they already think like some of the feedback we get is it's already too expensive. So if we add C Dance 2 and it's 5 times the rate for each animation, it will be better, but and we'll add it eventually. I'm just concerned people aren't going to be
excited to pay for it.
Yeah, and we also do not have CDance 2 credits either. So that's one reason. I mean, unfortunately, it's like a big part of it. It's not like the best because it's and all the billion-dollar companies are feeling this too. It's actually AI is so expensive to run. It's very hard to make money. And if the billion-dollar companies are struggling, we're struggling too. Also, like as time comes in, the models are clearly getting better across the board. So it's like, do you burn all your cash now? It's a long race, right? Do you burn all your cash now and then just so you're better for the next 3 months, or save your money so in 3 months when the models are 10 times better, not 10 times, but let's say 50% better, you can now go get a cheap model that does the same thing. So that's generally, if you ever wonder why we don't just like light up the best and brightest and give the best experience, it's money, right? Lovable actually does this, and they burnt like $200 million just building websites in like 6 months, right? Like that's the type of spend we're talking about when you hit. It's also why, if you're curious, why we don't do mass marketing. We do have a lot of connections. We're industry vets, and we have a bunch of things lined up, but our sign up pipeline is pretty good. We just need people more willing to pay for us. So if you guys know people that are willing to pay for AI, and you know their customer profile, their ICP, if you know the characteristics that make them up, so we can target them. We would love to hear from you, because we have lots of people that want to make games, lots of people that are very interested, but they want things free, which is very hard in this world to give things for free, especially as a small company. So, but anyways, Kimi K3 is very good. If you have coding workflows for a company, I'm not a shill for Moonshot, but if you have sometimes it feels like it because they keep releasing such good models. But if you're paying API rates anywhere and you're paying for Claude Opus or Sonnet, you should stop today and go use Kimi K3, like 100%. There's no reason to be using Claude at API rates. Now Claude subscription, use the shit out of that until they fucking break it. So, because they'll break it eventually, right? Like Fable, for example, they wanted to pull Fable off because Fable, I don't remember. It's some like insanely huge model that takes like 16 or 24 B300s to run it, which for the room, all you need to know is that's $1.5 million worth of GPUs.
That's insane.
Yeah, to run one instance of the model. Now, those GPUs can handle like, let's say 1,000 people at once. I don't know the actual numbers. So it's not like you pay that and you can run it for one person, but it is still completely insane the size. That's why Fable is so ungodly expensive and the limits are low. But I mean, apparently there's people out there paying it. And the Chinese companies, quite frankly, are the only ones really trying to compete on the price. Actually, GPT-5.6, I'll give them credit, competes on the price. But I actually think Kimi K3 in a lot of ways is better than GPT-5.6. So it's not as, I don't know how GPT-5.6 trained their data, but it's like they index towards the most complex things you can possibly imagine. Like you go in and you're like, I need to make this red. And they're like, okay, how do we generate the color red? Instead of just going to using like a hex code or something, they're like, what if we like render this shader and we do a GPU shader and, we do all these crazy things and we'll mimic the color of red instead of just sending the RGB value to the monitor, right? Like it's, I know that's not exactly how it works, but for an analogy, we're going with it. But that's kind of how GPT is. I'm working on a side project that I got. So I have a side project. I like truly vibe code. So I just got workflows going all the time. And like, it is, I'm on phase 9 of 25 of the implementation, and every other phase it splits it by like 2 or 3, and it is not that big of a project. So I don't know what the fuck it's doing.
It's really thinking about what you asked it.
Oh yeah, no, I had a task when I was playing League last night with you, Tony. It literally spun for 2 or 3 games on the design of a phase, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? It was literally downloading every dependency and verifying the files in every dependency, because I had a requirement that, because my project's open source that I'm working on, so I was like, oh, it just needs to be an MIT or equivalent. And so it literally instead of just looking at the parent libraries, was like downloading them, making sure there was no poison pills. And I was like, okay, guys, I literally go, all you have to do is check the license file. That's all I was asking you to do. And then it's like, oh, and then it cuts half the design, deletes half the design, and deletes what it's doing. And it goes, we're ready. And so like something as simple as like, hey, can you just make sure it's MIT? Like just it fanned out into download every dependency in the dependency. Like it's just insane behavior sometimes. And the real goal with some of these AI workflows is to automate a large portion of the workflow and then come and review it at the end. And so when you see stuff like that, you lose, I mean, this is frontier stuff, right? So like GPT-5.6 Sol is very good, like very, very good. But when it does stuff like that, you lose the confidence you can just automate it, right? So whereas this is where Opus and especially Fable is so good at this. Like Fable doesn't do, I don't know what they did. I don't know if it's just because it's a huge model. And so just having more information makes it realize what stupid means. It's actually kind of interesting. I wonder if all the things they cut from the models to distill them is like the context around what is smart and stupid. Because Fable just doesn't hardly ever do stupid stuff. And it has a very good balance of like understanding the use case and doing what the use case needs. So I try to use Fable for big designs, but it's also just exceedingly expensive. So
yeah, when I'm using Opus, even for like medium type designs, I have to keep on reminding it to do that. One of the basic engineering things of KISS, keep it stupid simple. And it tends to respond well to that and doesn't do a ton of different stuff like fanning out and downloading a bunch of dependencies. But
yeah. Do you use, because I also think you use my library too much for simple stuff. You need to KISS. Brandon, you need to learn to KISS.
That's right. I'm working on my kissing ability. No. Yeah, I have been using it a lot less. And I mean, it your library is really good for those deep dives and finding the edge cases. But I think
Yeah,
for
it's
simple things like simple PRDs, I have like 2 requirements. That's overkill.
well, so I don't actually think PRD type design is the way, like that is what you do when you have a big project you need to roll out or a big new feature you roll out. It is not, that is, I still believe it requires more hands-on, but hands down, the best way to do AI development is hands-on development. So
Yep.
if you don't know what you want to do, or you're exploring, or you're prototyping, and this is true for game design, and it's why ours is designed the way it is. By far, the best thing is to not just say go make a game. It's to make this system. Let's test the system. Let's see how this works. And even as the models get smarter and it can like fill in the blanks for you,
You still want to do that.
yeah, it's still better. Like when I and there's also a difference between like handcrafting something the way you want it versus trying to automate something because you have 25 billion things you need to do. This is my life right now, is like, so took a game break, but I was basically up till 4 a.m. because I couldn't sleep, just working on stuff. And like I'm working on like 5 or 6 different things all at the same time. And I don't need to handcraft it. I know how it needs to work. We need these APIs that do these specific things. Like we already did the design. We just need to code and implement it. Those are the sort of things that I would love to be able to automate, because here's what so for website and app development, here's what I'd say. You need to know your API interfaces. You need to know your database interfaces. Do not delegate that fully to the
AI.
The AI. It definitely don't do that to GPT. You'll get some fucking crazy databases. And it's not that their database design is wrong or bad. It's just oftentimes the first table it comes up with are like way more than what you would ever need.
There's
right?
a lot of bloat in it.
Yeah, exactly. And so same thing with API design. Like reviewing APIs when you're doing app development is a great way to go, oh yeah, it knows what I'm talking about. But what I say after that is, and I've always thought this even at Amazon, so like that's all I really heavily reviewed for my junior engineers was API design, database, and then of course like you try to review what they're doing, how they're writing code to give them tips and tricks. But generally speaking, everything in between doesn't matter as much for someone that knows roughly what they're doing, which AI does know roughly what they're doing. In my entire career, there's only been one really big bug where the way they wrote the code caused the bug. And that was someone not knowing what a singleton was or dependency injection. It wasn't a true singleton. We were just using juice to dependency inject a class in, and they were using member variables on the class. So it really fucked some stuff up when you're doing a million customers a minute, and it was like 5% of all customers got another customer's thing. Anyways, that's the only time in like my entire career where there was like a bad like bug that you couldn't just fix, that was caused by the code and not database or interface design. Because the reality is like if your database is correct and your interface is correct, it's pretty hard to fuck up in between code. So that's how I feel about a major portion of app development. Now UI, how things feel, all of that, that should almost always be hand catered, because the AI is absolutely fucking terrible at knowing what good is. I have come to realize most devs are also absolutely fucking terrible at knowing what good is. I've uttered the phrase in the last several years a lot as people use more and more AI, is like, have you used the internet before? Have you used websites before? It sounds so like derogatory, but like everybody thinks they're a savant at everything. I don't know why. And it's like, guys, you're not the next fucking UX Picasso. Like, do not invent new UX patterns. Go to, I think I've said this to you, Brandon, too, is like, just go to 10 websites, look at what they do, have Claude or go do a deep research, say which UX patterns work the best, and just copy the one you like the best, right? Like, those big companies have UX people that are working full time doing research, user studies, all this stuff. They're not just willy nilly going for it. So you can safely trust patterns that companies are doing, and taking it one step up is do it like for UX, do it for companies that their job is UX, like Figma or something, right? Like Figma, I guarantee you, has spent $1 billion in UX research.
Yep.
So there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. This is true for games too. When you're doing a game, do your fucking market research on a game. Don't just try to make a game without like actually diving into what makes a game fun. Like you can go to the top 5 games in the genre and look at why they're fun and why, like what, get really into it. Like what actually makes them fun? Like what makes them feel good? And then the parts that you are not trying to reinvent, don't reinvent, just copy, right? Like this is one thing it does crack me up with AI. AI is like, they're like, the AI haters are like, oh, AI copies stuff from people. Yeah, no shit. That's what every human's done for the last like 10,000 years.
People
I
copying
think
stuff from people.
Yeah, I think the scary thing with AI is it like quite literally can copy verbatim. But we have copyright laws for that. You shouldn't be mad at AI. You should be mad at the government for not enforcing our goddamn laws, right? Like if an AI can output an entire segment from a book, for instance, like from memory, that's an issue with the regulation, right? Like, yes, the AI needs to get in line with copyright laws, but like, I'll tell you this today: no government ever is going to, or no company ever is going to do something the government doesn't make them do. And I don't know where people live and whatnot, but in the US, there's this myth that, oh, they'll do what the customer wants, customer first, blah, 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 blah. No, like these corporations see you literally as a dollar value. Like we're at the size still where we can talk to every single customer. You email us in, we're going to talk to you.
Yep.
Amazon has, 20,000 people that they're trying to automate off into AI. And even before AI, they were offshored to India and all these different places.
Costa Rica,
yeah, just all sorts of cheap labor places. And they don't give two shits about you. They say they do because they know that's the persona that gets them a
More
lot
of
of
your money.
yeah, they try to be empathetic. I'm so sorry you're having this issue, which is more than a lot of customer service agents.
They are not empathetic. They have a script that they follow that has been handcrafted based on psychology.
Yes.
And so Brandon's worked at Amazon and he believes they were empathetic. That's absolutely not what's happening. Anybody that's ever worked through the processes of these things understands that they're very manipulative. They're very intentional. They make you feel good, and that's fine. And they may be better than Walmart. I'm not saying that, but they're definitely not empathetic. The CS agents don't give two shits about your day.
I started at Nintendo. My job was to make people call the phones less, and so it was very focused on it's called the IVR, the phone tree, like press 1 to do this, press 2 to do that. And then I owned the website as well. And I'll never forget, one of the things that I installed at Nintendo was a voice analytics platform, and it ingested every phone call. And then I could write queries that were like, bring me all of the phone calls with the word fuck in them, or all the phone calls with the word shit in them, right? It did like tone, so I could be like, give me all the angry calls, and I'd go listen to them. And I'll never forget, there's this one woman, she'd started like a month before, and she got on a call with this customer, and the customer was like, man, you don't seem very helpful. How much do they pay you to do this? And the customer service rep was like, not enough to deal with you, and hung up.
Let's
It was
go.
by far the best phone call I got to listen. She got fired, but it was there was no empathy there. I mean, on either side, the customer was being a jerk too, but I'll never forget. Not enough to work with you. Not enough to talk to you. Boop.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean,
and then the other thing that would happen was the reps would get super tired of talking to the crazy people. And so they would, I had another query that would just bring back empty call time. Like if it was like, if the call was active, but there was nothing being said. And there was like a whole category of workplace abuse or whatever you want to call it, where like the person would pick up and solve like a very simple problem, like press the power button, and then they would just not hang up when the customer hung up, so they wouldn't get any more calls, and they just like sit there and mess around on their phone or whatever you were doing in the early 2000s, sitting at your desk. But it was like there was so, like, anyway, going back to like customer service reps and their level of engagement with their job, it like I just it was like a sitcom, like watching like the different ways that they would try to not be sitting at their desk working, which again, totally reasonable because it's like kind of a mind-numbing job. But yeah, there was no empathy or customer obsession living there.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's that persona, that like marketing ploy, that scripting empathy that I was trying to get at, and I agree. Like when I was able to go to Costa Rica, where the Twitch Prime customer service agents were, and it was a really small subset of group of people, and they were just trying their best to do what they could with the tool set that we gave them.
You went down to the call center in Costa Rica?
Yeah, I did.
Oh wow. That's wild.
Yeah.
This is why Twitch Prime got downsized, by the way.
Yeah, I was like, that's a weird, that's a crazy dev trip, but I love it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was a lot of there's other people too that were in charge of the customer service area for like that area of Amazon. So we went down there with them, and the whole goal was like, why is our customer service satisfaction so low? And our goal was to try to improve that. And when we got down there, we soon understood why. It's because we gave them a tool that was out of date, and they couldn't answer any questions for the customer. And their process to cut us a ticket was a couple days long. And
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
We all knew this. It required a trip to Costa Rica to figure this out. This is why I don't miss corporate. It was so much bullshitting. Like, and Brandon got red pilled by management, so we've been working on unred pilling him. But we need a phrase for that. What is red pilling for management? Let's see.
Dilbert pilling.
Is there a phrase for red pilling for corporate management?
If not, we're coining it.
Yeah.
Well, there's no efficient corporate buzzword.
All right, we're gonna make one up then.
Yeah, we gotta make one up. I'll think about this later. But yeah, it's actually hilarious to me, the people that have been through management training at some of these big tech places, how broken their brains become. And I say this in the nicest way possible, and it's almost every single manager I've talked to, and I'm friends with a lot of managers. Shout out to Meyer if you're watching. Probably not, but Tony, you can tell him I said this. He'll probably agree with you, actually.
Yeah.
But it's just like they get this like sickness where they quit using common sense in any capacity, and they just start using corporate buzzwords and corporate processes and corporate this and corporate that. And it's like, but Amazon told me to do this, so I must do this. And it's like,
dude, Meyer and I had a great conversation about this like a month ago. So we had some folks on the team that we were trying to provide coaching and guidance to for the audience that's listening. And I described how I was providing this coaching and guidance to members of the team. And it was like, I was like, hey, you guys, this is, I understand that everyone's trying hard here, and, everyone's doing their best. And here's some of the stuff that we could be doing better was the summary of it. And Meyer was like, Tony, that was not the way to communicate the thing that you're trying to communicate. Like you clearly tried to like soften the criticism that you were delivering, but when you're delivering criticism to someone, they're going to try to find like the most rosy glasses to look at it through. So if you don't tell them this is exactly what you did wrong and why, they're just going to walk away and be like, oh, it was okay, it wasn't that bad. And it's exactly what you're talking about. Like, instead of just being like, this was fucked and this is how you unfuck it, I was like, all right, let's think about how we could have done this better. and it's just like not
Well,
not the way
and
to
that's
communicate.
that's formal. I know for a fact that's formal training at Amazon.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
You never go in and just say something negative. You always have to be positive. And no, fucking bullshit.
They talk about the sandwich. It's the sandwich of good, bad, good.
Sandwich.
Like, look, guys, I understand Amazon was a cutthroat place to work. It used to be, but Amazon literally built one of the largest companies on the planet by being real with people and just saying how it is and getting a bunch of people that could do that. So clearly, just being nice to people when they suck is not like. It's also a weird thing. It's like there's a difference between being like not rude to people, right? Like I'm not saying be rude to people. I'm not saying treat them like a child. But to me, like all this corporate bullshit is more like treating them like a child. Because what you're saying is this person is not emotionally old enough to handle criticism.
Yes.
That is literally what.
Yeah, you can't handle hearing what I'm
then ask yourself the next question. Why do you want to, because I mean, like Amazon, for example, very highly paid people. Why do you want to pay someone $200,000, $300,000 a year if they can't handle criticism?
Yeah. That you view
Just
as emotionally as a child, right?
Yeah. Full stop. Like that's what, and by the way, this is like 2015 on Amazon. Before Amazon was about the time Jeff Bezos started walking away. Like I despise Andrew Jassy. Full on the record. I think he's one of the worst CEOs I've seen in recent times. I think he's a Nepo baby. I'll get it all on the record.
Oh, that's funny. You're saying his dad invested in Amazon, right? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, go read the Wikipedia and read in between the lines. Bezos, on the other hand, I'm pretty sure he's Hello? Brandon just like messed the stream up. What are you doing, Brandon?
I put us back on screen.
I didn't touch anything. No way.
You left and then we all went off screen.
My entire talk space just froze, and then I didn't touch anything and everything just refreshed.
Interesting.
Oh, it must have been some client bug. Because like literally you left and then it pulled us all off screen. And then yeah. So anyways, yeah, like even though Bezos got some nice money, I mean, he was like a financial trader and he got some nice money from his parents. And those early days, he's had a lot of PR training because he basically just felt like a autistic financial trader, basically. And I don't say that ironically. I say that quite literally. If you go watch some of his early interviews,
it's great.
What I will say is he actually, for the first like 10 years of his business, actually really did live and breathe the things he said. And that's one of the reasons that they were able to build the company to what they were, is because he didn't do all the corporate shill stuff. He was like, this is what works. You need to actually believe this. You need to actually do it. It's like, I don't care. It was more like, I don't care about the process. Here are our pillars. Like customer obsession. Like it was like literally if you didn't do it, like you'd get in trouble. And when you're a smaller company, that works out really well. I keep lagging. I don't know, maybe Talk Studio's dying.
Yeah, I think Talk Studio's dying is lagging for me too.
And so anyways, Jassy got up there and he was like, I love the corporate shilling. You should feel this is what soured me on him and got me down the rabbit hole of who the fuck is this guy actually? And like, I don't know how people like Charlie Bell worked for him for so long. I don't know how technical people would deal with this, but he was like, he literally got in front of like an all hands one time and was like, you should feel privileged to be in the management chain because that is everybody's goal at the company is to become a manager. And I'm just like, bro, you realize your entire company does not run on managers. Like if everybody left tomorrow except managers, your company would literally implode. So like, fuck off. But he was only ever really a manager. He never did actual work. All he did was write documents and organize. And I think there is a very, very large difference between doing actual work. And especially when you talk about middle management at corporations. Middle management at corporations may be necessary, but it is literally one of the lowest value add roles that exists. Like you need to manage the people doing the work. You need to organize stuff. That's all valuable. You do not need 3 middle managers between a director and an L6 manager.
Well,
Like,
that all goes back to incentive alignment. Like there are whole organizations at Amazon. Comixology was one of them. Audible is still one of them. That they exist because Amazon can't get rid of them. Twitch is going to be one of them at one point, right? Amazon can't get rid of Audible. It's just it's a huge product that they built. It's part of Prime. I mean, they can do whatever the fuck they want, but they're not going to get rid of Audible. They put a lot of brand power behind it, but it doesn't make any money. No one listens to audiobooks. No one buys audiobooks, right?
but they do get them on the subscription.
But yeah, they get them on the subscription, and they get the free credits from all the promotions and stuff. But it's not a money maker. It's a loss leader. And so that whole organization, the whole organization, the way that you rise through that organization is hiring and promoting people, because there's no business objective that you can possibly achieve.
And they're not doing anything.
That's because like, there's no yeah.
This is what's insane when people are like, oh, we can't tax the rich people, or we can't tax this. It's like so fucking asinine, because like this is actually why you tax corporations more, is you get more things like this, which actually good for society, bad for people's sanity. You get more they'd rather go hire a bunch of people that, because they don't literally do nothing, right? They just, like, relatively to other teams do very little. And so you get a lot of teams like that and a lot of things baked in. And, you know, here's another thing. If your option is to either fire people, get rid of Audible, or pay taxes, or sorry,
pay the taxes.
Inverted. Hire people, keep Audible, or pay taxes and get rid of them. You're actually going to just keep them, because like there's one thing companies hate more than anything, and it's paying taxes. And so when you make them pay taxes or else spend the money on things, they spend the money on things, right? And that's how profits work, right? If you go spend the money on things, it's not a profit. You don't get taxed on it. And so that is actually the goal of like a 99% tax rate, is you do not want corporations hoarding money. There is no societal value to corporations hoarding money. Apple's a good example of this. What value to society, and people need to realize a public corporation is a social contract with the people in the country. No, it is not publicly owned, but we give you certain rights as a company because you have certain liability and the company has certain responsibility.
Like if you just woke up tomorrow and had $1 billion, you still wouldn't be able to go build data centers all over the country.
Right.
Amazon gets to do that because they've built contacts or shipping facilities all over the country, and they understand how to build stuff.
And we allow one company to do that because we will now hold that one company to dramatically higher standards
than 20 companies that you'd have. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, exactly.
And that is the trade-off. And so that's why you say, yeah, it's a 90% tax rate, because that company hoarding money, that company building data centers, like remove AI and the electricity usage, that company building data centers, fulfillment centers, infrastructure is valuable to society in some capacity. Them hoarding cash them doing stock buybacks is literally not valuable to society in any way, shape, or form.
It just goes straight into that super yacht.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't even do that. Like Apple hoarded like $60 billion cash at one time. Why? Like what? They're just literally sitting on cash. It's a negative flow on the economy. It doesn't pay out to consumers. Like and the reason they did that is corporate taxes were low. So they knew they would never be able to aggregate that cash ever again, because corporate taxes could never go lower than what they were at the time. And so the companies understand it, right? It's just like buying a house. Like when interest rates were 2.5%, 3%, everybody that had a brain went and bought a house. You know why? Because they'll probably never be that low ever again. Right. So, and interest rates and free money, I mean, it's what caused inflation, but, if you weren't old enough or you weren't smart enough, because the reality is like, and most people don't know this. And when I say smart enough, I really mean like you have the knowledge, not your intelligence.
It's more ignorance than intelligence. It's like
like you can go buy a $300,000 house at a 2.5%, 2% interest rate, assuming you can qualify. That's going to be cheaper than any apartment you can get for the next 20 years.
100%.
Yep.
So like there's no reason. So boomers used to say in the US a lot is like, oh, you should always buy a house, never pay rent, blah, blah, blah. That's not true. But when interest rates are 2%, you should always own a house. Right. So that is true because at least financially, right? Because the interest rates are so low, you're getting free money. Like literally just for context, like I have a 3,000 square foot house. It's very nice, built 5 years ago, nicer nicer neighborhood in the area. And I think I was paying like $400 more a month on my mortgage than my brother-in-law was paying for an old rental house. And he just bought a house half the value or half the mortgage rate. And I'm pretty sure my mortgage is only like $500 a month more than his, right?
Wow.
And you're talking in the order of magnitude of like 20% more, right? For double the size of house and everything. So it's I don't think people understand. Companies do. I will say this: companies do, and more affluent people and wealthier people do. So if you're upper middle class and up, you probably understand this, and that's how people roll it into it. Which is why most people keep their credit in the U.S. keep their credit ready to go, even if you don't need it, because all you need to get those like really good rates and stuff is good credit. You got 800 credit, you can be making $50,000 a year. You got 800 credit, you can go buy. Like they'll loan to anybody with good credit. And I think that's another thing people misunderstand. You don't need to be rich to get those rates. You just need to have paid your bills, which I understand is harder. Sorry, we went on a huge side quest here.
We did. It's okay. I've been playing my Makko Survivors game in the background.
Yeah, and getting back to this, I want you to well, at some point I want you to do something, but
I'm just running around. What do you want me to do?
Oh, I need you to exit the game.
Oh,
your dude is not centered. It's really bothering me.
Oh, he's not in his circle. Yeah.
So go to the alignment tool.
Upper right.
Nope.
Here we go.
That's how Tony's been using the product a lot.
I have not used the alignment tool. I actually was trying to yesterday. I couldn't find it. All right. Which movement, right?
To go to whichever. Well, actually, you. I don't think you can select all of them. They should all be center.
Yeah, you can select all of them. Here you
go. Okay. No, they're not all selected.
What? That's not all selected?
No, the white box is the selection. Like click on one.
Wait.
Okay. So go down to your select these first like 6 or 7. One more. Next row. Nope. We do not want to change your nope.
just unclick the gems. Yeah.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Nope. Up right there. There you go. Scroll up. Now click the center reference point on the right.
Look at that.
Now hit apply at the top right. The next time, Tony, hit apply in the top right.
It's not in the side panel. It's in the main.
Oh, there it is.
window.
I was like, where is it? I got it. All right.
Next time Tony tells me he dog foods the product. This has been out for 2 weeks.
I couldn't find it.
Scroll down. Now do it for the others. So with this is should make it render from the middle instead of from the bottom, which won't make it perfect, but should center it a little bit more. So now let's
see what
reset the game. Sometimes the AI, this is the problem with giving the AI agent too much power, is sometimes
looks a little more centered.
Yeah, it definitely is. We'll have to get the circle to see how.
I can see the circle. It's just light. I gotta get some level up here so I can make it darker.
So for a lot of stuff, it may not matter. There you go, Secret Aura.
Yeah, now
there you go.
Yeah.
So now you're running. So I realize this is like we probably need a way to change the pivot point Actually, the pivot point is probably more important than the alignment tool, because the AI a lot of times will like bound the asset to a specific size. So like resizing doesn't do anything because the AI has already overridden it. I noticed, but the pivot point works really well because that's the point it's rendering from, and that probably almost matters more than anything else. But what we'll do eventually with the alignment tool is we'll batch single sprite sheets for all your assets. So instead of downloading each asset individually, it'll batch them all up at the size you need them, which is why
That'd be
the
huge.
reference tool can.
Yeah.
Because as we know, Tony loves to include massive assets in his.
Not anymore. Not anymore. I trim everything down to 10 or less frames, and I don't use anything bigger than.
Oh yeah, look at this, 256 by 190, 169. You're learning. We did it.
Look, it's tiny.
We did it.
It's tiny. Look at that.
I almost wonder if we should like. See, the shitty thing is like you want to do the editing at the higher frames.
Yeah, because it is really good. You get a lot of good frames that you wouldn't get if you didn't have all 96.
Yeah, and then and I mean even larger. You don't want to look at tiny frames when you're editing, but then
Sorry, you mean like making it like 512 or whatever size.
Yeah, but then when you're baking and you don't want it to be big.
Yeah.
And maybe that's where it messed up, is like we should just make the edit screen one size.
I really like
you bake.
I really like that you added the alignment tool to Code Studio and not Art Studio, because it's definitely closer to where you use it. But that's why I didn't understand. That's why I couldn't find. I should have just asked you because I knew it was out. But...
I've explained that to you at least 5 times. So
have you?
Yes.
Just because the alignment tool is only for Code Studio, and so it makes sense to be in Code Studio.
Yeah. There's no, because you can't. It doesn't do anything if you download them. Yeah.
So I'm gonna start doing what I do with Brandon when I explain something. And be like, Tony, what did I just say?
You got it.
Well, that's actually a really good communication strategy. There's like understanding of somebody versus what the other person has said.
Well, and I work with a bunch of people that apparently have ADD, so they can't pay attention anyways.
So the pivot point, would that mean that like basically this guy, his center of his body would be here instead of?
Yeah. So here's another thing.
The bat works fine, right?
So I don't know why your sprite is so large. Was he not walking in place? Was he actually walking across the frame? So go to the asset tool. Nope.
This guy.
Go to the asset tool and then just find him in here. Zombie walk. Or
shambling is the one I'm using. Yeah.
What in the world? Why is the preview? Can you click on the right hand side? That should be a live preview. It must have got broken.
There we go.
It must have got broken. But yeah, it does. No, it just didn't clean up right. So anyways, you should basically not keep animations that have huge padding in the sprite sheets. You should just
get rid of them and try them again.
Yeah. Because now this is going to be really hard to do anything. So you can go in and you can put the pivot point on that specific one. So like for this guy, go back to the sizing page. Also, I have no idea. Oh, actually go to assets real quick. I want to see something. Click on animations tab. And now, no, why did the live preview get broken? Anyways, not a huge deal. I'll have to fix that. Well, you're supposed to be able to view the animations.
Oh wait, you can't. Oh wait, that's recently broken because this was different yesterday. Like
what happens if you click on a different animation? Maybe it's just that one animation.
I'm gonna do
just
this
click
real quick too.
Yeah, I'll fix that. I don't know why.
Yeah, like yesterday, it wasn't even the sprite sheets here. It was just the actual.
Well, no, it's been the sprite sheets for a long time because taking the first frame was, like I said, I don't think you've used this.
Weird. Oh yeah, maybe I've been using it, and that's right. I've been using the tabs in Art Studio, not Code Studio.
All right. Anyways, go back to sizing, and so like you can select the zombies walk, which you got everything selected. You're shambling, and do left. And this is where I was saying you'd really ideally want to be able to click and drag it.
Yeah.
Which Brandon, you want to make product improvements. Note all this down, and you can go run through these.
I have my notepad up. I got 3 things already.
Okay.
So
So
yeah,
with
we can go do these real quick.
But with the padding, let's walk through that real quick. Like I'm gonna go to Art Studio, and I'm gonna pull up my collection here for
Brandon, here's another one. Open asset in Art Studio. That one will be a little bit harder, but maybe just note the asset ID or something that it came from, and
sub collection.
so he doesn't have to constantly
Zombies.
or open asset and open collection in Art Studio.
Tony, can you run through this one more time so I understand?
Run through what?
The open the asset. Oh, when you click on it, open it in the Art Studio. Gotcha.
Oh,
Yep.
No, in Code Studio. No, check this out. I think he means like when I go to
so
assets,
when you're here,
I click here.
Yeah, you're here. You have an asset selected in the right hand side. We should just be able to say open in Art Studio, and it open the collection where it's at in Art Studio, or open the detail page. Probably open the detail page.
And then this is what I meant, Jeremy. This is what I've been when I click animations up here.
Yeah.
Where is shambling? Let's see this one or this one.
So yeah, so I don't know if you can blow this up. I mean, you're gonna have to be the one looking for it, because see that right side, there's that green line.
This thing right here.
Yeah, so something. Let me make a note. That should never happen. Let me keep this for now. I'll ask you for this later.
Okay. It's interesting too. I obviously noticed the movement, and I was just telling Code Studio like, hey, I was describing it. I was like, hey, Code Studio, my zombies are teleporting left and right when they turn left and right, and it gave me a bunch of words and said it fixed it, and it kind of fixed it a little bit, but obviously not great. Cool. So I don't need to do anything else with this.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll do a fix and then we can test on it.
I love that. Cool. Well, that is the Vampire Survivors game. I think this week I'm gonna do a video updating the UI here, and so next week I'll come and have a bunch of UI upgrades and a video for us. Hopefully, a video for us to look at, but definitely the UI upgrades.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And I think that I'll probably with this game, I'll probably do UX upgrades. I'll add another character, and then I'll add a couple levels. I imagine, and I'll probably make this like a 4-video series. First video being the one that I showed you guys yesterday. Second video being the UI that I'm gonna do next week. Then add characters, and then add a couple levels, and that'll be the 4-video series for this one.
Yeah, how do we feel about I want to break up some of those videos into smaller subsections, because we have our what do we call them, the hint areas, the tutorial areas on our pages where you can click and it gives you, like, I can embed a short there for like specifically editing frames or specifically generating an asset, because I think you went over like a really good end-to-end flow in your video, and we could reuse that in the other areas too with the updated UI and models and all that. Cool.
I'm definitely going to do that. I hope this one does well. The Letta, actually, that's a good segue. We have a gentleman named Marco who makes YouTube videos for us. His business is called Letta, the Letta Corporation. Sharing it here now on screen. And yesterday he put out what I can only describe as a banger. Here we go. Look at this. It's already got like when we started this this stream an hour and a half ago, this video had 2,900 views. So it's gotten 400 views in the last hour and a half, which is pretty fun for us.
Roomba in space.
Roomba.
What is this an ad for?
Foundation. The TV show has a video game.
Man, I get all political ads right now. I can't believe you're getting a Roomba ad.
Yeah,
Whatever
that's
that is.
because of your viewing habits, dude.
Yeah, I watch a lot of
I only watch Makko.
mobile and indie game stuff. So this is oh, look at that. He's advertising as well. I appreciate that. Anyway, so this guy has been making. He made a pirate game for us, and made a video series around it. And then he's making this this platformer as the next video series. He's gonna do 4 videos on this, and then 4 videos on an idle farming sim game. And you can see he is going through the process of creating assets in Makko and then importing them into Godot. And so, if you want to learn how to use Makko and Godot together, this guy's video series are pretty good. We'll also be putting out a series. It's going to be a little slower because this guy's been making videos for 5 years, and I just started. But you can see, like, we'll go through pretty in depth. Like, here's how you make all the assets that you would need for the game, and then he continues to bring stuff over to, download it, bring it over to Godot, and put it in the actual video game using the Claude Godot MCP. And so you can see here, similar, he's got like some playable stuff here, but with some code driven UI and menus. And so he made this scene this week, and then next week I'm pretty sure he said he's going to go through and start cleaning up the UI and adding like actual enemies beyond the NPCs that are standing here. But yeah, we love this guy. And if you want to learn how to use Makko and Godot, and you're not tuning into these streams when Brandon is learning how to do it live, the Letta Corporation YouTube is a great place to dive in and start learning some stuff. So I just wanted to toss that out there as a plug. And then I will also say that if you haven't joined our Discord, it's discord.gg/Makko, Makko. You can join, and we do giveaways and contests every week. You can come and use Makko to make prototypes or art, and then submit those as part of the contest, and you can win a $50 Steam gift card. And then if you have any questions, or you want to build with us, or you want to show us what you're building, we have office hours on Fridays at noon PT. You're welcome to show up and hang out and show us what you're working on, and we'll show you what we're working on. And with that, I will.
Yeah, that video is doing pretty good. It's one of the more popular ones attributed to traffic to our website. And so right now we have 87 sessions and 18 signups from that video.
Which one?
This one. His latest one.
This one? Oh, that's great. And that, because this just came out yesterday at like 11 o'clock in the morning. Cool.
Well, we're live on stream. Be careful about just reading off internal data on stream, dude.
It is. Sorry. It is good. Let's go high level.
I probably set that precedent poorly because I was talking about signups and stuff, but I appreciate.
Oh yeah, you should absolutely not be doing that.
Yeah, it's a good look. It's a good look.
Well, that thing looks really cool.
Yeah, it's the boss fight. The Hollow Warden. He's got a attack. He freezes afterwards.
Just
his little scarf attack is kind of terrible, but
I know. We gotta get a projectile coming out of that or something, or make him like take the scarf off fully.
What is really interesting is like you can very clearly see how the backgrounds and things actually look great, and how he's layered the backgrounds and assets onto it, and even NPCs. Like, so like if you want like things like a game like this that's fully like this, also that mob just clipped out of the animation. Like you're going to be able to get to stuff like this with AI in the meantime, but some of this stuff, if you like also he's not walking on the ground. Some of this stuff you're going to need to like actually go and hire an artist. Like your main character and all his attack animations and stuff. Like if you actually want
like a commercial game you're shipping on Steam.
Yeah, like or you're going to have to The other thing that Leta's done here is he's left way too many frames in the animation, and it's not sped up enough, right?
Yeah,
He's like,
it needs to be like 4 frames and 2-3x.
yeah, and like so like the mob, so it's actually funny. It's different per animation. Like the monster when he's standing there, maybe that's like a cool animation to do. But then when he's attacking and stuff, this whole like I also don't know why you didn't speed up the attack animations. But the longer your animation is, the more sloppy it's going, like AI slop it's going to look like. So anyways, I feel like he's leapfrogged you guys on your game.
Oh, it's funny that you say that. I thought the same thing. I was like, man, he like in a week is but what he clearly didn't do was the tuning, and his jumps don't feel as good as our jumps.
Yeah, I think just looking at comparing gameplay, I think we spent a little bit more time tuning the gameplay, making sure jumps, dashes, double jumps, like all of our different motions feel pretty good. And so, yeah, just kind of watching through the video, like they work they just feel a little sluggish.
Yeah, it's more like, well, again, it's like a tutorial video versus something that we would launch on a video game distribution site at one point.
Yep. Yeah, I think he's doing a really good tutorial. But I think like some things that we're trying to stick to is just getting our level fun and designed and ready to go before we start polishing it or even just putting any assets in it.
Yeah, I think he's got like 40 frames in the flying character animation he was just showing.
Kind of reminds me of like older style two-dimensional games where they had those long animations, those really detailed like bats flying and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it looks cool unless you're in action.
Well, speaking of leapfrogging, let's switch over to start talking about Rift Runners. But before we do, Brandon, Jeremy, do you guys need to take a quick break? We're about halfway through here and want to make sure I'm not making you guys...
I don't, but I do want to show. You want to show
some product stuff?
Oh, I'm going to take a quick break.
I just want to show you my game. This is a one shot with Kimmy. I was talking about Kimmy earlier. I really like Kimmy.
This is so cool.
So all I said, I mean, there's some bugs. It's a one shot, but all I said was, Final Fantasy game, or not Final Fantasy, a JRPG game, 3 classes: warrior, white mage, black mage, and a leveling up system. So let's see. This is the white mage. You can see it has cure, non-elemental. No one's taking damage, so it can attack. There's some like cool little animations. We got fire. The warrior has no abilities yet, so we're just going to attack. He does have defend. So now that the black mage, so this is the first thing is the HP selection doesn't go with. They missed that? Didn't go with the green arrow is the right selection, but the HP selection at the bottom isn't working. But anyways, I can heal my black mage. Great, we're gonna fire him again. I can defend. Oh, look at that. And you attack the defender. I don't know what defense actually does. The mage's attack for 1 is pretty awesome. All right, so you get victory. There's 10 encounters in a row. So that's the game for now. Basically a boring roguelike. Oh, did Tony leave?
No, I'm here.
I thought Brandon was leaving, but
no,
I just looked over and
I'm back.
So anyways, they've leveled to 2. So now I have protect that I can cast on my people, and I have blizzard. Look at that, slightly different. And now I have power strike, and so you can level up quite a bit. Their freaking basic attacks are really weak.
Did you do any follow-up prompts, or is this like your one shot?
No, this is the one shot.
Wow.
That's why I said Kimmy K3 is really good. Really, really good. And I think already. So like
even
you can
the turn
see
counter up top looks great. Super clean.
you can see the there's some like UI bugs, like the buffs down here are messed up, but you know, what you get when you one shot. It's funny, every AI tries to add this battle log like it's completely necessary.
It's got to be in some like definition of RPGs that there must be a battle log somewhere. Like
Yeah.
it's got to be like somewhere it learned that Final Fantasy had one in the first Final Fantasy and just put it in there.
And look at that. Vex learned Thunder now. So
No
anyways, you can
way.
keep going. There's 10 in a row. Now there's these weird looking wolves that are backwards.
Oh, they're like cat wolves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they look more like pigeons.
They do look like pigeons with hats.
Oh, I just saw that. Now I can't unsee it.
I mean, with 4 legs, but anyways,
party
it keeps going, and like but I just thought it was like this was my Kimmy K3 test, and this is dramatically better than what like Minimax or even Sonnet will do. So Minimax, Gemini, or Sonnet. This is a lot better than what that'll do. So I actually was thinking about doing a thing where we can generate vector art and lock it in with the models. So instead of doing like basically have like a vector art editor where the AI can generate vector art, and then you can just save it as an asset and then bring it into your game.
Yeah, I like that.
Because like honestly, the vector art style isn't horrible for a lot of things, but you don't like you want it giving full attention to the vector art and iterate on a character. You don't want it to
give you the party pigeon for the wolf. You want to be able to be like, this needs to fluffier tail and ears that don't look like hats, and
yeah, and then you could do some like special effects and stuff in there too. Well, we do need a special effects editor, but anyways, I just wanted to show that real quick. That was it.
Oh, and then he left. He's like, I don't even want to talk to you guys anymore.
Right.
That's right.
Well, Brandon, do you want to go take a break or?
Yeah, I'll go take a break. I wanted to see that game.
Yeah,
That's the first time.
I was like, you should have taken a break while we were.
That's the first time I've seen your game. It looked really good.
Well, what I was going to say is, Jeremy, do you want to actually take everyone else through the alignment tool that I kind of showed off, but like without me fumbling around?
Sure, I can do that.
I'll use that as a clip too. Was I telling you last night, or was I telling Brandon this morning? I think my cat can't get up to the cat castle anymore.
You were telling me last night.
I feel so bad.
I don't think you remember much of last night. Do you remember ganking for me when you were?
Well, I do remember. I told Brandon, I was like, I don't think Jeremy's going to play League of Legends with me anymore. It's like, he's terrible.
So I like how Brandon just left his thing with no camera on in the stream.
Yeah.
Alignment tool. Okay. So alignment tool, like I said, some of it doesn't work exactly. Hold on. Do I have
the bunny?
I don't know,
great.
mine's not working either. Yeah, I'm like, where? Also, why did those things get reset? All right. So the alignment tool is basically just a quick way. Everything got reset. I'm not sure why. Also, guy is huge. So okay, this is actually a good test run to show. This is just one of my test games. I just throw a bunch of random assets in. So you can see how small. You can see this is the angry rabbit that's huge right now, and then you got the small rabbits. So the problem here is, let me just ask this. Be like, hey, it looks like our sizing of our assets ignores and it's actually not the alignment tool. That's not what it's called. It's called the sprite sizing tool.
Sprite sizing tool.
Probably because we were binding it to a specific size. Is there any way to let the engine handle sizing and apply a overall resize mechanic? using a reference image. So, and this is probably something I need to work through and figure out how we can just get it. But so this guy is supposed to be huge. The whole idea here is like the engine will render these at different resolutions, but like my game, I can pretty much guarantee you it has bounded them to, so when it draws this guy, it doesn't resize them. It doesn't look at this size, or it does look at this size, but it's saying render it at X, Y, Z. So however, what will happen is if I make it smaller than those bounds, so it's basically like there's a max rendering size, but now that I've made it smaller, it'll probably be like ultra tiny. I don't even know if we're gonna be able to see it. Everything's kind of too small, but there's my rat. Oh, no, it didn't change it at all. So it must be calling a call that overrides the sizing tool. So I need to fix that. But the idea, and you can change your pivot points and everything. We'll make it the same size as her. As we saw earlier. So that's nice just to get pretty decent rendering. We generally start at the bottom, but any sort of like bottom center, but any sort of like animation or anything that or any game mechanic that has something drawn around it, you would want the center rendering point. Let's see. I actually don't know what it did. Engine native sizing. See if it can actually figure it out. All right, so now this is going to be like huge, right? So, whoa,
Look at that.
So, yeah, this is what's funny about Gemini. I did not say that at all, and it's like we'll just add the title screen.
We're trying to help you out.
Yeah, so I don't know if this actually. I'll need to go look at it. But they're the right size now. So they're quite a bit bigger now instead of like static sizing. Now they're, well, that guy was. Anyways, I'll need to figure that out. But the idea was that you can resize them relative to a reference image and then change their pivot point. So like what should happen in the game right now is these guys should be huge. I'm like 90% sure if we go to enemy.ts and we look at it, it is probably rendering. Let's see, render draw image, this .x, .y, and then it's draw W width and height are coming from overall resize factor. Oh, so what if we just do this and then let's see. Oops. My control S is not a hotkey. And then where's draw W, draw height, oh, asset. All right. So now this should be, the assets probably look. Ah, there we go. So basically the AI had applied some modifier to make everything look correct. So now I can say remove the size. I can say I removed the size modifier from my character. Remove it, or for enemies, remove it for my character. So yeah, so this is part of the problem with AI development is like when people say 90% of code is written by AI, what I just did is the 10% people are still doing manually is you got to go in and debug it. All right, so I've removed the scale from your player. Great. So now we can actually show it. So now my character is going to be huge because this is actually the size they come in at, right? So, and you can see as your stuff gets bigger, how things look worse a little bit. And apparently, oh, they can't even, oh, there it goes. So obviously stuff now is like way too big.
You can see how cute those bunnies are, though.
But now what we can do, we can show the power of the tool. We can just come in. And so first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our reference, which is our walking image. And you can see it's 239 pixels tall, which is about right. Let's change it to 128. And assuming this actually works, big assumption here. This is why, so I need my team to actually use the product to help me test. So it does not work. So that's cool.
It worked on the wall. Yeah.
Oh, on the walk. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's exactly right. So we changed it to 128 pixels. So we can just do that here. And now what we can do is we can go and resize well, that was backwards. Oh, no, it wasn't. The animation was just weird. So now we can change it and resize to each. But so like the resize the bounds, but since there's animations, kind of got to like something like that. And then now we can go match all to reference, and we don't want them as big. We'll make them a little bit smaller.
That guy should be huge. That's a big bunny.
Yeah, we're gonna keep and then this guy's nice little warrior dude. And so what you can also do here is now that they're generally resized to her is like say we want this guy to be the enemy reference because bunnies are a little bit shorter. So we can do that, and then we can match. Oops, wrong button. Do that, and then we can make this guy the reference. And so now we can just resize them because like we don't want the cute small bunnies to be bigger than.
Can't you just click the match? Oh, you want it to be smaller. Never mind. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want them to be the same size. So this guy be about the same size. So now when we go in, so the idea is you use the resizing tool instead of have the AI do stuff. But if you've been having the AI resize and everything, there's probably a bunch of random logic in there that's bypassing our engine. And so this is all happening magically. And oh, I forgot to resize that guy.
Look at that rat.
But see now everything looks about the right size, right? So okay, now I want it a little bit smaller. So we just where the hell is that rat? Oh, he's in an uncategorized. Okay, so this guy needs to be way. We'll just make him the same size. However, we actually want this guy to be a little bit shorter. Say 70. And so now this guy is too big. And where's my rat? Okay, so now, but you can see instead of having the AI do a bunch of work, you can just quickly come in and resize everything. So now everything's about the right height. Random vector art left. There we go. So now everything looks right. But the key thing there is like the AI had a scaling magnitude on it because what the AI did originally, we actually did a backend change that changes how this works a little bit. But what the AI did originally is it read the character size. And after it read the character size, it went, oh, I need to rescale this thing because it's huge. And so it handled the rescale. So the AI will probably still do that if it has not been resized before So like now I can say, that's actually a good test. Can you search my walking animation on the asset tool? Tell me the size. Actually, this is a good test. I don't know. So effective rendering size. So yeah, so now it gets the rendering size and the base size. And actually intrinsic base size. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right. So so before what would happen is it would just read files and like imply a bunch of stuff, but we funnel it all through this get asset list asset tool now. So now it has like authoritative authoritative stats that it doesn't have to know logic about. That's a back end thing to make the AI work better. But so it will still try to resize some of these things. If you come in with like massive assets, it'll still try to resize them, but you can just basically tell it, hey, let the render scale. And actually before the alignment tool was working, it just was very, very minor changes because there was like a 0.25 modifier on the size. So that means every 1 pixel was changing at 0.25 pixels. So if you change it 20 pixels, it was changing it 5 pixels. So it was very hard to see. So it was still working. Good to know. But
yeah, that's a good point that like even though we have the tool here, it's all about how the code was implemented using AI. And yeah, that was a good debug session.
Yeah. And because I mean, what would normally have to happen is if you give the bunch of assets, if you give it a bunch of assets that are like 1,000 pixels tall, the AI is not going to go, oh, I guess we'll just render it larger than the screen. It's going to go, let's make it 200 pixels tall. So, so anyways, that's the resize tool. Yeah, that's well, and we're going to be building more tooling like this out where you can do more things manually rather than. And the AI can use these tools, right? So the AI can use these tools too. It's not like, and actually,
like, could you tell the AI like, hey, go use the sprite rendering or sprite sizing tool to make all of my sprites the same size?
For the code right now, but are you talking about like in the future for export?
Well, sorry. Yeah, no, what I was asking was Jeremy said the AI can interact with these tools. And what I was asking was, is that a literal thing or like, does it?
No, I actually need to add this in literally right now is we need to add a resize asset. So when it reads, this is why I changed it to tools. The AI should never be interacting with like how our system works specifically. The AI should only be writing code for the game. And this is where the original implementation was bad. I actually just made a note because the reason I did this large refactor this last week, which took a lot longer than I thought it was going to, was because now everything is routed through these tools and this one interface in the front end, and the AI literally can't see these config files anymore. So now we can very easily go in and say resize asset tool, which is what I'm going to do. So instead of the AI resizing it on the front end
like override thing that
now I'm going to add that resize tool, and then it will use that resize tool that resize the asset in the engine. And so this is why like I want people using it is like that's just a simple session, right? Like, well, the AI is resizing it. Okay, so how do we fix that? Well, the AI needs to resize things. So how is it going to resize things? It should just go through the tool. And I guess the only risk of that is, but I think this is fine. The only risk of that is the AI could resize all your assets. It looks like crap. And you need to, so this should still be in your restored files. So this is all files in your code base. So like you can still restore to a restore point. This isn't like in our database. This is just in your code base. So there's some of those things that are, like if the AI goes and resizes everything, it looks terrible. You'll just have to restore it to the last restore point, basically. So that's the risk you run about giving it tools, but that is the general idea. And AI does better when it's not reading and interpreting files and instead is just using tool calls. So that's why we want to start moving things to tools too. I'm actually going to get going on adding that tool because it's a good idea.
Yeah, and I do use the product every day. I just didn't. I didn't see the ruler. I wish I would have, because I used the front end override for that stupid flip back and forth thing, and now I wonder now I wonder if it's a good question. If I had a project and I had done that, which I have, is it more effective to just like restart and not do that again, or tell the AI like, hey, go strip out all that shit that is overwriting the tool?
To restart your game? No, I mean, very rarely is it going to be better to restart your game. Like the only time it would be better to restart your game is if our like fundamental, like, so I have a project going where I'm basically copying Godot functionality into a real engine, and that'll probably be in beta for a while once it comes out. So if you decide you like that better, then yeah, you would restart your project. There's no way you're migrating to that. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but one of the big wins for that will be the AI agents have to write less code, which means you use less credits, which means it costs us less money, which means you get your game faster. So there's a bunch of, and cheaper. So there's a lot of big wins there. That you would have to restart your game, but like some of this stuff, it's like that. You saw me literally. Well, I don't know. Were you watching?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I deleted 12 characters to fix it. Right. So like that clearly is not a restart your game. Like that's crazy, right? Like why would you restart your game to delete 6 characters?
Yeah. So if you didn't know where to find it in the code, would your move be to tell the AI to do the thing you want, or tell the AI to tell you where it is in the code so you could go look at it and do it?
No, you tell the AI, I'm going to add this resize tool, and then the AI will know about it and have guidance on like, hey, you should use the resize tool over manually resizing.
And then you could tell the AI like, hey,
yeah, you could just say, hey, my enemies aren't resizing with the resize tool, and it'll figure it out.
Yeah, cool. I like that.
So I'm adding that right now while Brandon does this thing. I'll kick something off to do.
Oh, you're gonna do it like right now on the stream. I love that. All right. Well, we're gonna put Brandon up then. And Brandon, why don't you tell us? I just put Rift Runners up. Why don't you tell us where we are with Rift Runners, what we worked on last week, and then what we're gonna work on today?
Yeah. So last week we got the intro level done. We went through the movements, made it feel a lot better with sliding, wall jumping, and actually falling from a wall jump too. You can control that now. So I can actually bring up the game too if I play it. Yeah, so a lot of the movements are a lot more fluid. Wall jumping feels a lot better. And then up here, when you're done with your wall jump, you can actually move them around a little bit so you don't fall off the edge, which is pretty nice. We added arrow swap zones last time too. And just finishing out the tutorial was a really big part, just to make sure that we had all the mechanics in place that we needed to have a game that felt okay.
And just as a reminder for those of you that are just tuning in, Rift Runners is a platformer, an exploration-based platformer. There's no enemies, and you're going to navigate across the levels by solving puzzles that are often triggered or solvable by swapping the time era that you're in, meaning that you go from like past to future, future to past, and the environment changes as a function of that happening. That's what you're seeing on screen right now.
Yep. So that's what we're calling an era swap. And then when you have tiles that are a little different from the other era, we're calling that like an era bleed. So yeah, and so that's where we essentially got at the end of the last stream. And so the challenge was to create the first level. What goes into making a really fun first level? And that's a lot about game design. So I did I went around and I watched a bunch of other designers do a bunch of stuff, which I thought was pretty helpful. I like watching YouTube videos or reading blogs about um, how other people approach designing a first level. And so there's a lot of good content out there. And the thing that stood out is that a bunch of different people were saying like, hey, you need that core like intro area, like to prove out your different mechanics, which we have, which is great. And then once you do that, then you can start to really think about what you want your first level to be. And so I came up with a few different questions that I wanted to ask. It can be different for anyone, but this actually just helped me kind of think through how I wanted the level. So I'm not going to go through every single thing here, but I'll just go over the main questions. Like, what is the purpose of level 1? And so I have a bunch of different goals that I want the player to achieve with level 1. And then another good question, if you have enemies, or who do you want to face in level 1? We don't really have enemies, so I didn't really spend too much time on that one. But then what obstacles and learnings are present? I think that's the core of our game right now, are the different obstacles through platforms, puzzles, and the era bleed system, the era swap system. That's like the main core here. So spent a little bit of time just going through. I put visuals in text here to kind of, like, as I'm developing the level, like our first level is going to be a shipping container, or not a shipping container, like a shipping facility that has a bunch of different stuff for a dystopian city that your character starts out in, that is being essentially destroyed by all these time rifts. So I wanted to kind of think in my mind how things would kind of flow together. And that's the next question too, is what is the intended flow? And so you complete the intro level, and then you see and then you go into like a couple other mechanics for the game. It's kind of like an intro. So that helped me out. And then after I had this checklist here, I started drawing on a piece of paper like we talked about last stream. And so I was able to draw our intro level for scale. And then I also, let me see if I can bring it up here. Yeah. So I am the most amazing artist, and I can draw straight lines pretty well, as you can see. And and so I have our intro level here that I drew out. You can see my erase lines too. And then over here is where the intro level ended. And so I wanted to build off of that. And so I'm like, all right, I want to go upwards. I want to teach, like on my checklist I want to teach the player exploration as part of level 1. And so this is a part of exploring. We're not just going right anymore. We're going up and to the left. And then I wanted to teach the player that you can explore and be rewarded. And so these little X's here are those sub keys. If I can I make this bigger? Nah, maybe.
Yeah, click the magnifying glass.
There we go. Beautiful.
It's like,
Love
how
it.
do you zoom in? Same icon it's been for 25 years. For 50 years, however long. I'm pretty sure that's the original icon.
I think it is. Yeah, just like how the save disk icon is a save. Everyone knows it is, but not everyone's used a floppy disk before. That's crazy. But so what I did here, so right where you can kind of see my mouse is where the key, rift key was, and you ended the level. But I wanted to build it upwards with platforming. I want to ease the user like into the different mechanics. We went through them all on the left, and it could be a lot. I think we have 7 mechanics that we're introducing in the first intro level. Maybe we need to go back and adjust that to slowly introduce it over time. But for the purposes of trying to find the fun for our game, we introduced them all right there. And then, so we're going up, we're jumping, we're double jumping. When you get to the top over here, I want this sub key to be visible but not reachable unless you go explore to the left and up. So then you reach your first fork in the road for exploration. Do you go left or do you go right? You know that there's a key to the right, so you might try to go to the right, or you might try to do the rest of the level to the left. So hopefully you get the key, jump out of there, and then you're like, all right, I'm going to continue the level to the left. And so I had this idea for a type of moving platform that you would need to dodge. And in era 1, the era that you're in right now, these would be broken loader robots, broken from the time rift. And so they're actually loading things vertically up and down, whatever they're doing in a pattern, but it's stopped right now. And so you need to switch to the other era so they continue loading in a pattern that the character can easily dodge and go through. And then I wanted to then put in a hazard. So we have a chimney climb right here, but it will have electrical panels that you need to jump around. And you can also try to find a hidden secret below too. Or if you accidentally fall, or we could even add an arrow swap in here. We can decide that later. So then you get up to the top over here, and then I wanted a quick little break area for the player. You can just kind of run. And then these platforms will be kind of an electric pattern that you need to jump from one platform to the other. Pretty simple, should be kind of easy. And then you get up, once you pass that, since that could have been a harder challenge, you get up to this flowing area. So this is supposed to be a vast area for jump and sliding and flowing. And so you jump over a small obstacle, you slide under something.
Yeah, we lost Brandon.
Like this small little scene area. So
Oh, I was muted. Brandon, you're cutting in and out real bad. Where it's not like a static, you're actually just like losing volume completely at one point.
Well, you just froze for like 5-10 seconds.
Oh,
it was not volume. You just froze.
Oh, I couldn't tell. His face was too small.
All right. So I was saying about the electric area right here. These are platforms that will be in a different pattern that you need to kind of dodge. And so that might be kind of a harder type of platform experience. And so then we'll have an easier flow experience afterwards. And so a lot of this is just what I felt was good, what I felt would feel good while trying to challenge people with the environment platforms, giving them a small little timing based puzzle and then flowing afterwards. I think that's a good intro. And then I want to expand the rest of this level. But I've been noticing that it's kind of easier to build it in scenes, get the scenes ready to go, and then add on to that scene afterwards. And so then you can kind of get the flow for everything, teach the players the mechanics that you want to teach them in the order that you want to teach them in, and then have them move on to the next thing that you can design later, draw out later, and put this in. So what I did here is I obviously took a picture, uploaded it here, and then I fed it into Claude code that's hooked up to the Godot MCP. And I'm using the Opus 5 model. I put it into max thinking because I didn't know how it would interpret my drawing. And I just put the drawing in here. I gave it a description on what the different areas were. And I said, ask me questions until you understand what the drawing is, until you understand what I want you to do with the drawing. And so it kind of interviewed me. The biggest struggle that it had was the flow of the character. I thought I wanted like a switchback on the level. And so it was trying to like get me from this key area and do like a basic switchback to this jump and slide flow area. But that was incorrect. So maybe when I draw the next one, I might have an arrow with a potential character paths that it can follow. Because then I just ended up describing the potential character paths to it. And I think it did an okay job, but it asked me a couple other questions and it came up with this here. So I asked it to create the geometry, the basic geometry for what I drew. And this is where everything ended last time. And I guess I added a checkpoint there too, which is fine. and it added these really big platforms you can jump up on. I don't think it really got uh, the exploration part of it because
So little tip. I figured it wouldn't. If you have to explain to us in 10,000 words what your picture meant, your picture is not doing its job, right? Like remember the old adage, a picture is worth 10,000 words or whatever. If you have like the fact you just spent that much, you felt the need to explain to us that much what your picture actually meant your picture wasn't doing its job. Your picture's job is not to be pretty, it's to convey an idea, right? It's the same thing if you see a diagram on a tech review and then you need 25 pages to explain the diagram and the diagram's not self-explanatory, then the diagram's bad. So just a tip there. I figured it would not understand it based on what was written. And this is where maybe you tried to do like you can have you might need multiple sketches, right? You might need
That's what I was gonna say. It might be like a scene by scene sketch instead of like the whole level, or maybe you give it the whole level, but then you also give it like the hey, this is the zoom in of this section.
Yeah, and if I was digitally drawing this, that's exactly what I would do. Is I would have a section, I'd draw a square over it, and then I would draw a line out to the zoomed in on the square, and then that's where I would annotate everything, and then I would just have like a canvas that got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then I would do it that sort of way. That's one of the huge benefits of digital drawing versus paper drawing. Paper drawing, you're limited by the actual size of the paper you have. But yeah, even on paper, you could have the outline. One, I don't think you needed to include the entire level. You just needed a line that said start here, right? Because you just used real estate instead of using whatever you're drawing, right? Because you drew the entire original level. Also, so just have a line that's like start here, so you have more paper or whiteboard or whatever it was on to draw on, and then you can do like an overview. That's fine, but then you should like put squares around it and label them instead of all your annotation on like your one drawing, your 1,000-foot. Just put squares and label them like sections, like even just section 1, section 2, and then you can go draw section 1, and then draw section 2, and then you could probably give all of it, or probably what's better is go section by section. I talked a lot to you, the stream, everybody about iterative development. That's what iterative development here is like why do we think it's just going to be a one shot, a massive level? Like what evidence do we have to suggest it could do that? And then also think about what happens if we have to change this whole section around. Well, we have to change the other sections around. So let's make sure this section's good before we move to the next sections.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was thinking when I was like going through and drawing it, where I'm like, I probably don't need to do this intro thing. So I think it was a good experiment into like how like I can think about like drawing everything too. And I think that is the goal. Like, yeah, I can break up this section into smaller subsections, but this is just one section of the level because we do want it to be explorative. But yeah, I think those are some really good calls because I was looking at how Hollow Knight, how those developers went in and designed everything. I think they originally started in a game jam, didn't have a lot of time, but they liked their proof of concept and they just started drawing everything on a piece of paper. And they did those broad rooms, like you were saying, that didn't have a lot of detail into those rooms. They just kind of put everything out at a 1,000-foot view. And then they went in and they started zooming into those levels and drawing out by hand, like kind of what they wanted it to look like. Once they had a good hand-drawn area, they actually took it to some digital art, and they transferred everything that they could over to digital art and kind of walked through that digitally. And then that's when they brought in their 3D game engine and transferred all the art and the map and all of their design into there. But yeah, it was a more iterative approach, like what you're suggesting here too, where you focus on the overall outline of everything. Then you can zoom into these little rooms or little scenes and start filling that out. But I do like so the only thing that Claude kind of got wrong was that exploration, and I do think like if I had the arrows and stuff, it would have had a lot better. But yeah, focus a lot smaller in the beginning.
And the one thing I would say, also feedback on the original map, is there's no actual exploration, right? It's still a linear path. There's still only one way to go. You can still never get lost. And I thought we had a discussion the last time about we want there to be multiple routes. So what I was expecting when you start introducing exploration is maybe even the route it kind of sends you on hits a dead end and there's no way out, and it forces them to backtrack.
Yeah, isn't that what? Yeah, that's what I was trying to draw here, where this doesn't have a way out and you have to backtrack. But this is only like the very, very first part. And I do know it, like I do want to do what you're saying to have multiple routes. Because
but that's
that is
just a pit, right? That's not exploration. That's
right.
just a pit.
But it's like the very first intro into
I mean, how
a
stupid do you
potential
think
branch.
your users are?
Oh, we'll see. I guess this is where we would want to go play test.
So this is the example I was trying to show you with that. I keep wanting to call it the seasons game because that's what Hazel calls it, but it's I pulled up a game and demoed it. Give me 1 second. Game where you play two different characters, fire and ice. Degrees of Separation. Degrees of Separation is a no combat exploration platformer where you play two characters who can't touch. They are one's fire and one's ice, and you have to like navigate the environment using fire and ice differently. So like you have to, some places you have to swim underwater, and so you have to be the fire guy, and sometimes you have to walk on top of the water, so you have to be the ice girl. Anyway, all of that to say, it does a really good job of branched path exploration. There is clearly an underground, clearly an above, like in the sky path, and then clearly a middle on the ground floor, whatever you want to call it. And so that's one where I think it's like $10 on the Switch or on Steam or whatever. I would just go like, that's $20. Yeah, I would just go download it and play it for 5 minutes, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and
or just watch a YouTube video if you want to say $20. I'm
That's
sure
true.
there's a bunch of people playing. There's probably Twitch streamers.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, for sure. And that, so
or
Sonic
buy
the
it.
Hedgehog,
I don't care if you buy it, by the way. I'm just saying, if all you want to do is play it for 5 minutes, there's cheaper ways.
Yeah, and during the level design research that I was doing too, Sonic the Hedgehog was really good at this, and I think we might have talked about this too, where they have top, middle, and lower, and so people who are better at platforming with their high velocity Sonic the Hedgehog game would be better at going up top, and so you would get a couple more rewards up there, probably some more rings, and maybe a faster time completing the level. But then if the normal path is just through the middle, and then if you're not good at platforming at all, you just fall to the bottom on everything, you can still complete the level at the very bottom. And is that kind of similar to what you're talking about too, Tony, where it's multiple different paths of exploration depending on skill level? You're muted.
Yeah, and I think Sonic's a great example. I think the way you described it is a great example. Like if you're in the sky in Sonic, you're generally more concerned about making it from platform to platform and not falling back to the ground. If you're on the ground, you're generally trying to go from left to right without being hit by enemies and by picking up as much coins as possible. And if you're underground, you're generally fighting even more enemies with like they're denser, so you're more likely to run into them. And that's where like usually the secrets are. Like if you get a gem to do the mini game afterwards, or extra lives or shit, those are usually in the underground area and like behind challenges of some sort.
Yeah. And so that is what I want to do here too. This is just the very, very first part of the first level, and I wanted to expand it and make it a lot bigger, add multiple paths too. So I think all that's really good feedback, and that's exactly what we want to think about when designing the level.
Well, cool.
So
What do you think we should do next?
I think we should fix this exploration thing.
I agree.
I mean, personally, I just straight up, I don't think it's the exploration. This is just basic platforming.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of stuff here that we can add here.
Yeah, I just ask it a different way. Is like, what is exploration about this? Like, what makes this exploration versus standard platforming?
Well, it would teach the player that they don't have to follow the regular path. Like, obviously, we don't want like the little, like the pit is.
No, stop, full stop. There is only a regular path.
Yeah, like what is the other path?
Yeah, so that's what we should add.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah.
Well, no, yeah, but you were just saying the pit was the alternate path, right? So like,
well, I mean, what you could do is you could make like a time swap. Move your go down, move your mouse down, and keep it where it's right there. You can put a time swap here that removes this little block next to the right of where your mouse is, and then have that path go through the middle there. And then you could actually, even from there, you could have the path go from the middle or down underground. And then the three ways you can go are what is currently you would call the standard path. And then if you do this time swap, you could go through the quote unquote middle path or bottom path.
Yeah. And I would put a path like over here
and below, and what I would not connect it to the upper path. Right. So like what I would do is the choice that you're making or the exploration that you're doing is, do I want to play this level on the top, or do I want to go through the secret path and have a middle and bottom? And then once you have those built out, that's where you can start like, all right, where do we put like the extra life or the gem of 1,000 truths or whatever, right? Like we should put a couple of things in each path so it's interesting to engage with each path. But no. I would leave that unblocked, and
I thought you said you want an arrow swap. Oh,
yeah,
arrow swap for like over here. Okay,
correct. I would make the indicator on that wall right there, the wall that it currently exists, and then when you change it, I would just get rid of that wall completely. Yeah, there you go.
Gotcha.
Well, and you should put something on the other side of the wall that's visible.
Oh yeah, yeah. Good call.
I was just gonna move this guy over. Oh my god. There we go. So that was more of what I was thinking with the other one, and I think this is a good iteration on that, where like we can see that there is a prize over here, and we have the arrow bleed here. And it's like, hey, you just need to swap over. Okay, so now we can go back into our editor. Into the shared area, and then we can start drawing some more. So you're thinking, maybe that's not good enough there, but you're thinking more of like a lower path here.
Well, yeah, and I mean, yes, and what I would like, yeah, the way you get to the lower path can be all kinds of ways, but yeah, I would have a lower path and a middle path.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would also say this is why drawing it out on paper in each section, once again, so I think it's important to decide we want to do that, but is the path we have what we want?
Right. So on the piece of paper, it's not. And so yeah, I think that's great that we can iterate too. Like that was really cool, like listening to the Hollow Knight people go through their iteration process. They had like whole areas that they actually didn't end up shipping with the game just because of stuff like this, where it just didn't flow well, it didn't serve a purpose. So hopefully, yeah, we want to be able to like catch that before we do a lot of work, which is exactly what we're doing right here.
Oh no, you missed my point entirely. Because you went back to keep drawing over there. So my point is your current area, you said, is not what you want. It's good we decided and aligned that like you want to do these two paths, but your existing path is not what you want it to be. So why are we working on the two paths?
Oh, you mean the top path is not what we want it to be?
Yes.
Well, I like the top path.
You literally just said it's not what you want.
No, I was meaning if I bring up the drawing, this aspect right here, the little pit drop with the reward to teach the player exploration, that's what we don't want. That's what I was saying. This upper main path, I like the path so far.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I actually haven't tried to traverse this yet because of the
might be a good thing.
yeah, exactly.
Kind of point still stands. So just feedback. I'll keep giving it. You guys like to go ahead and just jump to the next thing. It is good to work out plans. It is good to discuss that, but you should complete a thing before you start actually working on the next thing, right? And if you've never even traversed it, why are we drawing new stuff?
Well, yeah, we should go traverse it. Yeah, well, because it's
So
a
you got the
natural. It was
placeholder
a
there.
natural progression of the AI not understanding the path that I wanted it to put off to the side. So we're like, hey, we can just brainstorm about how to make that better, and that's
No,
great.
I'm not talking about brainstorming. I think what we just did is good, but you got to put it on the back burner now and actually go complete. Like, it's like, think about it. You're moving through the level. The first thing was the pit. Like, so you're moving through the level that was generated. First thing is the pit is terrible. We discussed it, resolved it. Like, think about you were building software at Amazon. Is every idea that came up in a design review, are you going to go tackle that instead of the thing you're currently designing? No, you're going to put a pin in it. You're going to say this is the next step, and you're going to keep working on the thing you were already working on, right? Like, I don't think it's any different for how you model the game design, because if you just keep popcorning to every single thing and never complete anything, you're going to be, one, just context switching the whole time, and two, what happens if this top lane is terrible and you need to redesign the whole thing? Then everything you just drew down below is moot and pointless too, right?
Yeah, so let's finish this.
So, like, for example, what the fuck's the point of these boxes?
It is so nothing right now. These are placeholders for where a robot would be moving something up and down, and you'd need to arrow swap. And so obviously this section isn't complete because I just took the picture and put it in there. And this is the interpretation of the picture. And so this would be a good area too, where it's the intention was that there would be boxes blocking your path here, and you'd need to arrow swap to get the boxes to move up and down. Because these would be some sort of like robot trying to load things on a shelf.
That's a great example of why I would work through this piece by piece and make each thing good, because I mean, a lot of these things just seem like
kind of thrown in there.
Well, beyond trivial to me, like not fun. And you also just died when you fell.
Yeah. So I think
that was
there's
a bug there.
It looks like there's a checkpoint. Yep.
Yeah. So this is kind of my point of, like, finish what you started before you start another thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fantastic point. I think that's where we were trying to go. But yeah, I think that's a.
But it's not. You were drawing an entire new path. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah. Okay, so there's definitely something weird with the checkpoint system where you go forward. And so let's write that. So I'm going to clear the context here.
Also, I would recommend, it copied it well enough. I would recommend you do each section on paper and then just port it in, and maybe even show that on stream, because I actually think it'll be dramatically faster. I think you can take 5 minutes, do it on stream, and then it'll just do it versus watching you try to hand paint a level.
Sure. Yeah, I can hand draw some. Oh, do you want me to?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying
draw
for future reference, you can do that. I mean, for now, we should keep fixing these bugs and work through this route that's already there.
Yeah. I think that's exactly how I want to progress through it too. Is just keep on drawing everything, and then feeding it to the AI so it can paint for me, and I can just make small tweaks if I need to. Because I agree, the Godot editor is kind of hard to use sometimes, but so it's really nice to have the Godot MCP hooked up to it.
Yeah, I'm also just one of the reasons I'm being so hard on this is I'm not convinced we have any fun yet. It seems like a tech demo still.
Yeah.
There's not a single mechanic or thing in the game I've seen so far that is interesting. Is how, to be very blunt about it. And so I don't think we're at a point where it's like, oh, go do all these alternate paths. It's good to know we want an alternate path here. Market alternate path.
Yep.
Come back to it later. But like each path should be interesting and fun. And so far to me, it looks like, hey guys, we did a basic platformer and we're just adding some jumps through it. Right. Cause like, and the bar is higher than like we talk about Sonic or Mario or whatever. The bar is higher than that, but also, because you have 50 years to pull from there. But also Sonic's like going through the rings and flying through the levels is dramatically more fun than anything we have. So, because I still think the arrow swap doesn't.
It's not fun
look
yet.
good. Yeah, it's just like an instant change the level, spam it, go back and forth. There's no real puzzles. There's no real thought.
Yeah, maybe we should focus on that then. Just making air swap good, or pivot to something different if we don't think that we can make that fun.
Well, part of that's level design, right? Like the whole point of like, I don't mean the animation or whatever for arrow swap. I mean like like all we've had so far is there's a wall, I press it, it disappears, or things show up. There's no like actual been real puzzles. So I feel like as you start expanding the level, there needs to be interesting things to it. And maybe this box going up and down is the interesting thing. But the way you described it to me sounds not interesting. It sounds like basically there's a block, you press it, and the block's gone almost immediately. So that's why I wanted you to kind of do what you had in mind to see if it's actually interesting.
Yeah, to add the motion of the boxes going up and down.
Well, if they're just single boxes, like that's not a puzzle, right? Like that's my point. Is like, like think about.
So again, I'm going to go back to the example I gave with the Seasons game. If you're walking through that game, these boxes could actually exist in that game, and in that game, the boxes might be on fire, and you can't walk through them. And so you have to switch to the Ice Girl and move so the Ice Girl's screen is on the flaming boxes so they freeze, right? Or they go out and you can walk by them. That is like a puzzle because there's like a thing that you have to accomplish. You have to make the fire go out, and you have to use a mechanic that is not walk left or right or jump to unlock that challenge. And so that's how I think what I would think about is like, what is the challenge? What is the thing they need to accomplish? And then what is the mechanic that is going to help them accomplish that? That is not walk back and forth or jump.
Could that be it sounds like a lot like the arrow swap mechanic, right?
Could be the era, could be a dash, could be a combination of an arrow swap and a dash.
Just because I feel like you're probably missing it. The point, the mechanic is not press tab and then I run through it.
Yes.
That cannot be the mechanic.
Right. Yes.
There has to be something else. So there has to be an interesting puzzle that once you arrow swap, what are you doing? Right. So if these are just boxes, they're in your way, you arrow swap and you can run through them. That's not a puzzle.
But for example, if they were like this, and as a very simple example, if you arrow swapped and they started floating up and down and you had to dash through them, that would be the introduction of a puzzle with an arrow swap.
Yeah, if there was some timing element that was not, so like when you say, oh, they just move up and down, what I'm imagining is they're just moving up and down slow and you can just run.
No. I'm thinking like what we did with the tech demo level, where it's like there's some sort of like keyboard or zipper.
The zipper. Yeah, this thing. Yeah. And, all right, I guess I'm just really bad at explaining. That's what I was trying to explain. There would be some sort of a algorithmic movement that you would need to figure out to go through. And so the only thing I wasn't explaining well, or the only thing that I was not in my mind was using a dash to get through, and you would jump, double jump, maybe jump dash to get through. So yeah, I think that that's good. And honestly, like I want this to be like a little bit longer too.
Yeah, I think what's really throwing me off is you drew it as 4 boxes.
Yes.
Like, so everything you guys are describing, it's not a zipper, it's not 4 boxes.
It's not drawn anywhere, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like literally like the Whompers in Mario that whomp down from a ceiling that take the entire area. Right? Like, and I think that's the thing that like it's not 4 boxes that are going to move up and down. Like that's not it at all. It's not even that accordion thing you just said. This entire area has to be collapsed to where you can't get through, and then it accordions up and down so you can't just jump over it. And I think that's the thing, like if you're talking about like describing it really poorly, that's the thing that's still described horribly to me, even in the drawing, because it's drawn like there's all this space above it and and you described it like a robot's going to come grab the box and move it up and down. That's not okay, great. Like there's a box that moves up and down. That's like trivial. Because you don't even have to go under it. You can just jump over it. Like even in this era, like your picture didn't indicate any block here at all, right? Like why would you even need to arrow swap here?
Right. Yeah. It was. Yeah. I mean, it is a wide open area. So maybe it needs to be like reimagined too, which is great.
Well, which is why I don't actually think we're misunderstanding. I think maybe you're misunderstanding what makes a mechanic interesting or fun is like there has to be a block, there has to be a puzzle, there has to be something you're solving. And everything you've described so far is like, hey, there's these blocks, and then you change arrows and they move up and down. Okay, well, what's the puzzle? Like, there's just blocks here. Just jump over them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let's make it more interesting. Yeah.
And so I'm still. I've heard Tony suggest a lot of things. I still don't know. I still haven't heard anything we're actually doing, because even the zipper thing. So we want to do the zipper thing. That's fine, and you want to dash through. How are we doing that? Like, what is it? A tiny little hallway that is collapsed, and like, how are we even indicating they're going to get through? Like, is there just
I think what would happen is that we need to lower the ceiling area here and have we'll say the blocks, the zipper blocks that go up and down here, and they can move up and down in a way that you can run through and then probably dash through, but they will be stuck in a way in era 1 to where you can't physically pass because they're just not moving. And so that way you would need to swap to the other era, watch how they're moving, so then you can be like, all right, I can just run here, dash, and then run past to complete, and then to get to the next section.
Yeah. Well, I would say let's work on it and see how it feels.
Sounds good. Get my little selector.
We're in the last 10 minutes of the show here, and so I'm going to take this opportunity to remind everyone, if you have not joined our Discord yet, it is discord.gg/Makko, Makko. We host giveaways and contests every week. If you come in and make some art or make a little prototype of a game in Makko and share it in our Discord and on our subreddit, you'll have a chance to win a $50 Steam gift card. And then also, if if you want to hang out and show us what you're building or work with us on what we're building, we have office hours at noon PT on Fridays. And we do this show every week on Wednesday, starting at 8:30 a.m. Pacific and running till about 11:30 a.m. Pacific. So if you want to see us live and hear us talk to each other about what we're building, hear Brandon explain mechanics and me show off little games I'm making, and have Jeremy tell us what we need to do better, this is the place to do that. So please tune in. We're on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, X, and Facebook. So thanks everyone. We appreciate you tuning in, and we're gonna keep wrapping up this little puzzle area. Is the do you mean to have that little like hanging Chad?
Oh, like off to the right?
Yeah,
Yeah, let's fill it in.
that's my OCD is really, really painful when I see that.
Yeah.
It's like, fill it in, do it. Okay.
I know what type of game I'm making. I'm making a game that is like anti-OCD people.
It's just got like one thing off in every scene.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna sell it to all the therapists to make their OCD people play.
Yes. The game is just a desk, and every 5 minutes, like a pencil moves.
It's incredible.
Also, so sorry, I've been seeing this game. I don't know what it's called, but we can search it. It's like a rage bait game. So it's like a platformer, and there's like basic puzzles, but then things like disappear, or things like go crazy. I think that might be a pretty interesting thing for our game, where in one era something breaks and in the other era it just works or something like that. So like, for example,
yeah, like if you had a sorry, go ahead. Yeah,
so like one of the puzzles, I'll go through a couple puzzles. One of the puzzles is literally just a platformer up. There's 8 platforms, you just jump up, and like literally it's like when you get to the last platform it starts to fall, so you can't make it to the next thing very quickly. But so then it's like really simply like what you're supposed to do is just jump back to the previous one or just bypass that one. But it's like this puzzle that looks really obvious. You just jump up, and the whole design is just to kill you the first time. Then there's another puzzle where you like run through a loop. It's just a simple loop. You fall down and you almost get to and the wall on the left is closing in. So you have to do it in so fast. Then you get to your final target and it teleports you back to the top. So like people are doing it and they're like taking their time because they're like, oh yeah, this is easy. And then it teleports them back to the top, and then they got to do it really fast or they die. So like, I think taking inspiration from things like that, like you can, because I also feel like this is fine for now because like I think this is a good first puzzle, but as we get going, it can't always just be there's a block in the road and you change things. So we got to start figuring out more interesting ways to do that. And
I was thinking like an elevator, and like if you get on the elevator in one time zone, it like just drops to the floor and kills you.
Yeah.
But the elevator like actually functions in the other era.
Yeah, that's exactly the same sort of stuff. But we got to do things where like one, like you experience something, failure, something, not just a block, and like that's I think where it started. It's like feels not interesting. Also things like maybe progressive time shift eras, like we keep saying exploration is important, but it doesn't feel that way, right? Like just having 3 routes that have different puzzles isn't really exploration. To me, exploration would be, I mention Ori a lot because it is an exploration based game. You can do this whole area and there are certain things locked and you're going to have to come back and go through them later when you unlock something, or there's collectibles that you need to collect 5 of them to unlock the next area, or you need to...
So I was thinking about that, like that genre. What is it, like Metrovania, where you go Metroidvania. You go around and you explore. You are shown the lock before the key. So
yes,
you would see that locked thing that requires 5 sub keys or gems or whatever to go collect and open it up, or you see this area that you can't quite make it to, and there is some way to get a skill within the level, like a jump dash or something like that later in the level, that then you can come back and do that.
Yeah, exactly. And for the rift changing, there could be rift blocks. There could be, you know, there could be something like this route here. Like, no, the secondary routes. Like it could be something like you literally can't change rifts right there for some reason. And then you have to go collect. Maybe that's what the collectibles are, is like rift power or something. And you need 5 rift power to use. That's where I was saying the rift changing itself is not interesting yet. There's no.
It's not actually a puzzle yet.
Yeah, you hit a block, you hit tab. You hit a block, you hit tab. That's the game so far, which is not interesting. And I think you want to try to figure out some of, like, so we did the basic mechanics. We got those feeling okay. So now the question, it starts to become like this one is fine up there. It's more complicated puzzle. You can ease into it. But I actually think this digressing thing being right here is really interesting. I just don't think you want this going to the exact same place as your top route's going.
Right,
I think you want to have to like,
path.
Yeah, you want to like have to do the entire top route and then literally come back through because you need to go, oh, shoot. Like maybe you do the whole top route and the top route has a block that takes 10 and this one takes 5. So you got to remember and go, oh, there was that one back there that had 5. So we go back and then you can just do like rift power or figure out some narrative for that. Maybe there's certain parts that have like more disturbance. So you can't, you know, change riffs and or whatever, right? Like you can figure out a narrative thing for that. But I think you need something like that to make the overall game more interesting. Is like, why are you exploring?
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, and it's reward based. It should be reward based to get more, let's say, power ups, or I would say I don't know, maybe like I know something in some games they have like this huge visual thing like that doesn't necessarily everything should have like a story purpose. But yeah, maybe they want to go explore because it looks cool or it's a better route.
You can retrofit story on the mechanics. That's
exactly.
Yeah, and so I think the hard thing with zero combat is I think this is the reason most platformers have combat in them. Like almost every single one has some kind of combat, whether it's Mario jumping on things or Sonic rolling through things, or because it's very hard to make the Ori is like true combat. It's very hard to make these things very interesting for long periods of time with literally zero combat. Because, and this is why I railed on the puzzles so much earlier. Your entire game is the puzzles. So you better get really fucking good at making puzzles. You're right. Like just straight up. And so like, and so I don't feel like we have the right process to figure out puzzle fun yet. Because everything we have so far is roadblock. Because what I would say, since there's no combat, that doesn't mean there's not interesting puzzles. That means there should be interactive hazards. There should be like a sequence of things you have to do in interesting capacity. But like we can't even do the basic puzzles, right? And so like maybe that like so this is where like you've figured out some of this stuff, and yeah, parkour areas, whatever. That's like the low hanging fruit. But you figured out some of these things. So maybe what you need to do is like find like the top 10 puzzle types that we're going to have that we can iterate like that, because I actually don't think you want more than like 10 for the entire game. You're just going to have variations of those 10, but we need to like really make sure what those 10 are. So like 1 is a block, which is the only one we've done so far. And maybe it's actually 5. I don't know. So every single puzzle in this entire game is a block so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we need to start working. And so, by the way, for the stream, this is why really good game designers, like your really good ones, are like, it's literally like they're savants, because like they come in, they create new things, they do new interesting things. It is not as simple as people make it seem. It is very simple to copy, and lots of games just copy, and that's fine. It is much harder to actually figure out new, unique, fun things. And a lot of people can do it once or twice because they just have some idea. the people that can do it over and over and over and over again and just like lead genres and things, it's like crazy that they're that good at it. A lot of game designers think they're that good at it, and they're not. But a lot of game designers though would do all the stuff we're talking about as like a baseline, right?
Yeah.
So
What were you saying? I don't know if it was you. I think it was you that last week was like, you kind of have to be good at everything if you're going to be a
yes.
solo
Yeah.
game designer or game developer.
Yep. Yeah. Like this is why I laugh in the face of people going, oh, it was the art or the development or whatever that made the game. No, those things are components of the game. But like, if that were true, your AAA games would all just be fucking amazing because they have $200 million to drop on a Call of Duty
100%.
and hire all these artists. Why are they not literally the best cutting edge games that exist? Right? They're literally, Call of Duty is FPS slop that releases every year, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it just re-releases the same game over and over with just some randomly new assets. So it is not the technical capability that makes a game fun. And I think by now that should be like wild proof. Like I really think World of Warcraft broke everybody's brains because for the time era, like the technical ability was so fucking good. Like it like tunneling through zones, no loading screens, being able to fly all over the world, coupled with the excellent build on what was there before and have a good game design on top of it and then keep iterating, I think really just broke people's expectations for games. But I will use Vampire Survivors. Vampire Survivors, if you look at the coding and the technical ability of that game, had no business being one of the top selling games on Steam.
Yeah.
But why did it? Because the game design was excellent. Pit X Ball is another good one, right? There's so many. Like Pit X Ball at the surface level is like such an obvious idea. Like, oh, we're using a pinball machine to do a roguelike. Oh yeah, whatever. But no one did it. No one did it well. It's also not it's, you know, it has some more interesting graphics than like Vampire Survivors, but it's not some like technical masterpiece, right? And so but what it does have is it has very good game design. It has 20 different characters that are balanced to get against different mechanics that work different. Like,
and there's progression for each one
Yeah.
that feels unique and fun to play. It makes it so every character makes sense to play for some reason.
right. And so in our capacity for this game, we don't have characters, we have puzzles. So
Every
Like-
puzzle needs to be fun enough to stand on its own.
yes. And it doesn't mean every puzzle needs to take like 5 minutes, but that should also be an opinion. Like what sort of combination of puzzles makes something fun?
And that's where
Yep.
we go to like, are you solving something? Are you using more than one mechanic? And you're nailing down on, and it's correct. Like the one mechanic is dash, but like, for any individual puzzle, I guess like, should there be more than one mechanic in order to solve it? I think probably yes. And if so, how do you identify what those are? And if maybe it's not mechanics, maybe we talk about elements, but like, like a collection and a time swap, or a movement and a collection. And those are the things that have to go together to bring a puzzle together.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and there can be, that's why you got to start with the typing, right? Like what are your puzzle types? That's where you start. And then you can start refining them from there. For a block, what variations can we have in a block? You can have, we need to use 5 mechanics versus 1 mechanic versus 3 mechanics. It can be timing. It can be platforming, right? Like, but you need to have your types first, and then you can refine as you go on, because you're going to have variations of a type. I don't mean there's literally 10 puzzles in the game that you copy and paste. I mean, there are 10 types of puzzles that you have variations of.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there would be a variation of maybe something moving and like a sine wave that you'd have to, like, it could push you off into a pit or something if you hit it, or you'd have to jump around it, or it would be a hazard that you'd restart back at the checkpoint, but then you'd have to use like a double jump to jump over a certain aspect of it, or use a certain game mechanics, and then in the next iteration you'd use a different game mechanic for another type of moving algorithm, or whatever we want to label it as.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think at this point is we do not have any cleanly defined types of puzzles to fall back on. And like this is where I've said in the past, but like sometimes you have like just inspiration, you just like played so many games, you're just moving through it, you're doing it just from like experience, and you're so passionate and you've been thinking about it for so long, and you know these things are going to be fun. But like I would say that's like not the common scenario. The common scenario is, let's go ahead and think about it, let's have some sort of formula we can follow, let's have things we can fall back on. And most game designers are doing that. Like you're talking about how they game jammed on paper all weekend. What do you think they were doing? They were essentially getting there through an organic workflow, which is fine. But then once they gathered up all the things that made sense, I highly doubt they were like, hey, we don't have any artifacts to lean back on to try and implement this in the game. No, I mean, at the very least, they had all their paper and their paper notebook that they could flip through and go, oh, remember when we were jamming this one was really good, let's throw this in the game. So like really, you could also go do that if you want to. Like the process to get there is going to be different per person or group. But I do also know with AI, it's just really easy to start with like typing and then work from there. It's easy to have it go research. You can go have Claude go do a deep research and say, hey, get me every single platforming type of puzzle in the last 20 years and write a report on it. And then you can go through and say, which ones look good for our game. Okay, let's take these, and you take those 5 and then you're going to find them. That's where like that I think the workflows look different if you're AI first, pen and paper first, whatever, right? And I would say there's no right way to do that, but you do need ideas and artifacting to fall back on, whatever those artifacts may be.
Yeah, go out, build something maybe digitally or on paper, do whatever. See if they're fun, so you can go back. And yeah, because I think one of the interesting things about like listening to how people design all of their worlds and their levels is that they do have those artifacts. They do run through the game, and if they don't like something, they take it out. And if they think that this can be better somewhere else, then they move it. And so they can fall back to that artifact, move it around, put it where it would make more sense.
Yep. And that's just iteration. And that's why you gotta test each thing you're making. If you make 1,000 things and all 1,000 things just suck because you never tested an individual one, you just have a bad game.
Mm-hmm.
I like, it sounds funny and you can laugh, but like, this is true. It doesn't matter how many bad things you chain together, they're still bad.
Yeah, no, it's just funny the way you say it, because it's like it sounds so obvious, right? It's like if you put a bunch of bad things together, it's gonna be bad. Like no shit, but it's because people don't think about that, right? Like it's not words that people say to themselves when they're building something, but it's funny because you should.
Yeah. Well, and this is why in software development, there's feature creep, and everybody will tell you do a smaller amount of features better than a large amount of features poorly, right? And what's really interesting with AI and all of software and pretty much all of everything, you can do more things better than you could have done in the past. So, and what we don't really know is where that magic number aligns. So when people are like, AI is going to take all our jobs, it's like, well, no. One thing we are seeing is that jobs are getting more stressful. There's more expectations from your job because we have not aligned where the actual correct spot is with AI for productivity, for what you can do. So in the past, you may have been able to do 3 things well. Maybe you can do 10 things well now. Maybe you can do 20. Maybe that's dependent on the person. Maybe that's how value is determined in the AI world.
Is like how much you can do well at one time.
Yeah. And that's going to be a skill. I don't know. Like we're still early in the days, but what I can certainly tell you, I can do where in the past I could work on one thing. My cap is about 4 or 5 things simultaneously now, depending on cycles of the AI, much higher than that. And I can't really do those things well anymore. And even when you get to the iteration point, I have to drop 4 things and only focus on one thing for like an hour.
Because once you're actually refining something, even the context switching is just impossible.
Yeah. And so like still to this day, if you have like plans that are going to take a day to execute before you can get to the refining stage, sure, like you can trigger that, and then you can get 5 plans going and trigger those. But once you're to the refining stage, it's how it's always been. You just have AI to help you refine it. So,
well, guys, we're at the end of our show, and it's been another good one. I think we're getting better at this every week. I hope the audience feels so as well. Vince and Igor keep showing up, so gotta be doing something right. Appreciate everyone tuning in. We do this every Wednesday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific to about 11:30 a.m. Pacific. We also have a Discord, discord.gg/Makko, Makko. Feel free to join, participate in our contest, have a chance to win a $50 Steam gift card, and hang out with us in office hours on Friday at noon Pacific. Talk to y'all soon.
all right. See y'all
Yeah.
later.